Hi, my name's Lancelot. I'm a journalist.
And I am Raqib Karim, and I'm a freelance writer and stand-up comedian. And being stuck with Steven is weirdly arousing. I don't have any explanation for this.
It's really gets me on.
All of these sound absorptive spikes on the walls,
the blinking lights and the fish in the back.
It feels like
Sunday school all over again. You know,
what kind of Sunday school did you go to?
Holy crap, we got a new government, we got a new prime minister.
Yes,
hung parliament, well-hung parliament.
Very well.
Extremely well. It's slightly imbalanced, but
it
was hung for an entire week.
Yeah.
Right after
no one saw it coming. Everyone went from like, oh, my vote doesn't matter. My vote doesn't matter. So, oh, what is this? Why is my vote doing this?
Yeah, it's the kind of hung parliament where the foreskin is stitched back on.
Wow.
Oh, that is
I thought you were going to go from like hung tua and then to hung parliament.
No, that's what BN is. What? It's just
wow.
It's a calcification in your left nut that you might need to get removed because currently it's benign, but give it time.
I think Rizman had that at one point.
Yeah,
Fred
did he?
Rizman. Yeah.
He had it.
He had a slightly inflamed testicle.
Oh wow, shit! Does he still have it?
What?
Like,
yeah, no, it was some kind of like growth or calcification, or we're talking about nut sacks, you know.
Yeah. Okay. Talking about nut sacks.
Let's see how you segue out of this.
So Lance.
My favorite nutsack.
So you got into the journalism world like what, a year or two?
Yes, the start of 2021.
Yeah.
I joined as a social media executive at this news portal called The Vibes.
Yeah.
And I am now the social media manager, and we just came out of the elections, and it was absolutely insane because nobody expected elections this year.
Yeah.
Like everybody knew it has to be latest by June, July next year. So we were thinking that Ismail Sabri, PM, will hold on to power as much as he can, consolidate his power base, and when he himself is confident, he will run into an election. But that didn't happen because he got pressured, and next thing you know, in November, everybody's freaking out.
Yeah. But dude, the thing though, like How did it go from like a journalism perspective? Because like this year it was very evident. We saw like Anwar giving out like treats to journalists and all that, like food, you know, not even treats, like food, popcorn. We saw like the Agong going out giving out chicken rice and all this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Because he can afford the protein, you see.
Hey, speaking of the Agong, all respect to Tuanku, but I was camped out at Istana Negara one of the days, and I think one of the first things we got was KFC from Istana.
Oh, nice.
And guys, it was a snack plate, both pieces, drumstick and thigh, and then extra wedges on the side. Like, holy shit, Daulat Tuanku, man. For real.
Wait, but it's like royally ordered KFC better than regular KFC.
Yeah,
it's
probably
the best.
Yeah.
It's absolutely like.
I mean, it's working, isn't it? We're talking about it right now.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah,
it is great, and there's a sense of camaraderie in there's reporters being in front of anywhere. Like you can stake out at Istana Negara, you can stake out at UMNO HQ. Most of the time, there's a lot of food. Like Istana, besides the Istana themselves giving you food, a lot of people that run their own businesses want to like drop by and give you food, like KFC, drumstick and thigh, and then an ABC corner gave everybody like chicken biryani, like a proper solid like 20 ringgit worth of chicken biryani.
Yeah.
And they brought like 50 of those. So it was just, you will not go hungry when you're on stakeout at these places.
But like, has it, with your colleagues and all, like the ones that have been in this line for like forever, like,
Yep.
has it always been like that, or is it like a more recent thing?
For the Istana one, I'm not so sure, but usually whenever you go for a political party, the main events would be like conventions, like UMNO General Assembly, DAP, PKR, all the respective parties. UMNO General Assembly has always been the one where you get the most food.
Yeah.
So all the reporters are put into one sort of mini banquet hall, and there's Wi-Fi, there's coffee and all that stuff. And every half an hour, this minister's assistant drops off 50 Starbucks, 50 KFC, 50 biryani and all that. So with UMNO, it's always been like that. But with all the other parties, a bit less. Like you go for a DAP or PKR event, last time you'd be happy to get mihun goreng and like chrysanthemum tea.
Wow.
Yeah.
And this is not like drama, this is like the press junkets lah.
Essentially, it's like they're having the AGM, so they have allocation for the reporters to camp out and hang out and all that.
Then like, you guys work in the press, and I would imagine that political parties and politicians and all that especially want to make sure that the press are happy with them, so that they'll say good things.
Correct.
But where does that line go from thank you for feeding us to this? Now it feels like you're trying to buy me. Like,
that's always been a very, very tough thing. Like, especially let's say you go and cover an event on assignment close to a festive season, right? You're very likely to get an ang pao, get duit raya.
Ooh. I've had that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Working with
you used to work.
Correct.
Yeah, we used to either get. There was so much food in the press office. My God,
you're still digesting it.
I'm still digesting it. You think this happened because of my own habits or no? 5 years in the start, I got chonky. Like everybody is constantly eating. Everybody is stress eating now, honestly.
Yeah.
And then if it's not the companies that sponsor the newspaper giving you stuff on Chinese New Year or Hari Raya, usually you'll get like a lunch box, except it's not lunch lah because you're fasting, right? So you have this, or at least most of us are. They should call it slowing because my God. You just get these things all the time, or like these hampers, and it's a tax write-off. It's just charity. It's fine, but it's mostly food. That's how they keep you around because they know journalists are usually just overworked and starving.
But then there's also like they do often give out cash. Like I've gotten duit raya or ang pao, but I've also gotten just like a 50 ringgit in the palm of my hand sort of thing.
Really?
Whoa.
And it's there's no answer to this, right? Is it bribery because you're giving me something, but am I giving you a good story in return? Right?
So they don't like verbally or...
They don't, but then there's
you.
always that expectation. Because I know some people that go and interview a very, very senior minister and then they get a goodie bag with like maybe a power bank and a few other things. And then you look at the bottom of the goodie bag, there's like 1,000 ringgit inside.
Holy crap.
Yeah.
1,000, like legit.
That has happened.
My God.
Correct. There were a number of ministers, not anymore, but there were a couple of ministers last time during Najib's time, who were known to, you always want to go for his event because your ang pao will be huge, like counting 1 month's rent sort of thing. But what I always do, and this is the first thing I get the money, I tell my editor like, okay, this person gave me the money, and then I'll find a way to donate it and get rid of it. But that's cash, right? But what if it's food or even like a power bank? One of my colleagues and I were talking about this the other day. I give you 50 ringgit, and I don't tell you to write a good story for you, but I give you 50 ringgit. And then suddenly I give you a power bank worth 50 ringgit.
Yeah.
You take it, but you don't take the 50 ringgit. So like, where do you draw the line?
Slides you an iPhone. Like,
Yes,
At
correct.
some
Absolutely. On that Gorilla Glass.
So like, so are you guys like required to like report to your boss that this person gave me this? And
My company has a policy. Others, I'm not sure.
Okay.
But there's a general, like for example, another news portal that's also a popular online news portal, they have a zero gift policy. You cannot take anything, even if you like get a goodie bag and it's worth more than 50 ringgit, you have to give it back.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and you cannot take cash at all. Even if they belanja you makan, has to be below a certain amount. So they're very, very, very strict about it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Which I think is the reason why the gifts are mostly food, because the bribe will eventually disappear into your stomach.
That's true.
Not always disappear. Sometimes it's
it sticks around, but nobody thinks, oh, you're made out of bribe.
That is true, correct, yes.
Right.
Different type of raswa.
It's not biryani, it's bribe. It's
Also,
bribe.
Bribe biryani. Also, I was a sub-editor, not a on-the-foot journalist.
Yeah,
right? So we're
correct.
all desk-bound and it's just slowly expanding over time.
Correct.
So you look at sub-editors, they're mostly just, they have all sorts of poor health problems and whatnot.
Yeah.
Journalists on the ground, you all get cardio.
Yeah, we do.
So you need that
run
food,
around,
actually. Yeah.
Correct.
They're out there like baking in the sun and all that.
Yeah,
It's like
yeah.
of it, yeah.
He was pale before he got here.
Yeah.
So on the way, yes, correct.
Yeah, on the way he got golden brown.
Because if you're stationed at gate 1 of Istana Negara, they give you tents and fans. That's great, but there's nothing. You are stationed on basically where the guard of honor march and the horses and all that.
So it was literally intense.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Raqib Karim. You can
I get paid for this, You
can
I
hire
get
him
paid
for
to
birthday
tell
parties, weddings, and the reading
dramas,
of wills.
Yeah, funerals, whatever you
Oh
want.
my god.
I literally kill at funerals.
Everywhere but
I'm
on
here
stage.
to ruin
Right?
the show.
Right. See you in the next episode, guys.
Alright, that's my kid.
Okay, I can't leave.
Yeah. But okay, but as a sub editor, like, did you get like the kind of perks that the guys on the ground would get? Like,
Not-
you know, like the little $50.
Not
you,
directly,
Gunnar.
not like money, right? Because I think they know that sub editors tend to be relatively well paid, so they can't go that far. Also, we're not on the field, so you can't bribe us directly.
Yeah.
But every now and then, you walk into the office and there's this gigantic mountain of a hamper, and you're like, where the hell did this come from? Oh, this company gave us this, or that company gave us this, or this company gave us this. And at the sub editor level, it's not politicians that are bribing you; it's corporates,
That's fair.
right? Because that's where the actual money comes from.
Yeah.
So you get all these like appreciation gifts and whatnot, which I guess is a little more kosher, but sometimes it didn't sit well with me, and But I guess it's just marketing as far as they're concerned.
Then what about like the business section guys though?
The business section,
Yo, business
Yeah,
section
this is
people
corporate
get the
news.
insane like business tech. Okay, tech people get freaking review the latest iPad.
Yeah.
And then you've done the review, so you're like, hey, can I? How do I sort this? Just chill lah, keep it lah. It's a fucking 8,000, 10,000
oh
ringgit
yeah,
iPad.
this
Like,
used
chill
to
lah.
happen. Yeah,
For real?
And
Yeah.
then with business section, often they get they get sent on junkets quite often. So you go to, let's say, freaking conference in Dubai, all expenses paid, fly you business class, stay there for a week. They give you like pocket money. So these guys will get really, really good stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have a friend who I remember he mentioned one of his best jobs at the time was, I think he was going to be reviewing like a Mini Cooper or something like that. They flew him like
Oh yeah.
overseas to like
Naturally.
everything paid for just to
for.
drive.
also played for.
Yeah.
let's be
No,
real.
like Prakash Daniel, the comedian.
Yeah.
He used to do photography for Guinness, I think, and they had an anniversary thingy. They sent him and a bunch of journalists to Dublin, so we got to spend like I think almost a week there, all expenses paid, just to freaking take photos and drink stout.
Oh dang.
which he does anyway.
Correct. Correct.
So really, it's a gumboot with colder weather and more potatoes. But yeah, you actually a lot of competition and politics starts breaking out within the departments over junkets.
For real?
Yeah, no, there used to be in the Star, the section that got the most junkets was actually tech.
Yeah, I get
Because they fly you out for reviews and whatnot, or for like press events, big reveals, etc. And people would vie for positions in the tech department because of these junkets.
Oh gosh.
So the internal office politics was quite intense at some point.
So what was the one department or one section that you don't want to be in?
Sub-editors.
Mine actually,
Sub-editors,
nobody
yeah.
wanted to be in the main news section.
Oh, not the main news.
Yeah, no,
that's
because
fair.
that is the one where if you fuck up, the whole world will know.
Correct.
And the politics is the external politics is very, very dangerous, and there are certain things that you think are harmless that will get you in trouble. Like one time I got into trouble because I mentioned the name of the hotel where a Lamborghini caught fire in Penang,
What?
and I was told off because I was told off because number one, they don't want a potential advertiser to be badmouthed by association.
Okay.
No, and you think about it, like you've heard about student suicides at universities and colleges, right?
Yeah.
You never hear about what college it was.
That's fair.
If you hear about it, it's somebody send you a WhatsApp message or
Yeah.
Facebook thing, but the news never reports the name of this college, that college, because those could be advertisers.
Yeah, but that I understand because it's like if you're gonna, it's one thing to go to your friend and say I went to this chicken rice stall and I got diarrhea from it. It's another thing to publish it,
Correct.
on like a major platform and all
No,
that.
even
So
though
I get
there would be absolutely nothing wrong legally, ethically, or morally for me to say a student killed himself at University X, right? But they will never say the name of the university. They will just say a local private university because maybe one day University X wants to spend money on my portal. So how? So I just avoid it entirely.
In my department, what the problem was that there was no communication between the news desk and the sub desk because I don't know, one boss thought it was fine, like Lance here does, and then my boss was like, no, we got to cover our asses.
Yeah.
So sometimes I'd run the story as is, and then my boss would pull me aside and say, you named the hotel where refugees showed up. Rohingya refugees showed up on a boat.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And then they would be like, okay. But then I said, the news desk didn't say anything. I was like, yeah, but we're the last line of defense, you see.
Oh, man.
Against getting sued.
Yeah.
So there's all of these subtle layers of censorship that you do not see because we're good at writing, so we can just draft the story. Like a lot of the time you see these deaths of people by accident, and you assume it's by accident because they don't tell you the cause of death.
Yeah.
And then the last paragraph is like the suicide hotline. That's how you know it's a suicide because it's never in the headline and it's never in the introductory paragraphs.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, there's a lot of like, for lack of a better word, the news shadow bans fact from you.
That's kind of sad, though.
Yeah, but
It is what it is.
it is what it is because the paper doesn't want to get sued. Like at one point, I was literally being leaned over by my boss, and we were four hands on the keyboard at the same time, while he was on legal to make sure that when we ran this story, we wouldn't get sued by the powers that be.
But then there's also the other aspect. Sometimes it's not just you want to get sued or don't sue. Like the Rohingya landed hotel story, you don't want to name the hotel because then people will know where the Rohingyas went.
Yeah, that's
and you, in a sense, want to protect that group or that person's identity.
Right.
So it really is about, you want to report the facts, you want to report the story fairly.
Yeah.
But there are certain things you don't report suicides usually because of the effects that might trigger other people to do things.
My problem is that I came from an academic background, you see. So all the facts matter. When you go into journalism, you suddenly realize there are certain facts you can leave out and still tell the story with. But you're not trained for this. So you learn by fucking up, essentially. Yep. And the consequences of fucking up where I'm from, and I assume from where Lance is from, are quite severe. So you can only learn by constantly risking your career in the process.
So if you make a boo-boo, is there any way to come back?
No, there's not.
Or is your career over?
It depends on the side. I don't know, because you were in print, right? I mean, I'm online. So the news cycle in print is 24 hours.
Yeah.
The news cycle online is 3 minutes, right?
Yeah.
That's as long as people remember things for. So if your boo-boo, even if it was a really big boo-boo, which the Vibes did make at some point during the election season, I'm not sure if you guys remember. I definitely do.
Do you go back to bed and then you just stay awake staring at the ceiling going, what did I do?
I actually did get like a night terror one. I think a couple of nights after the thing happened, I woke up in the middle of the night sweating, out of breath, and just thinking like, fuck, did we delete the tweet? And I'm like, yes, we did, but still.
Yeah. I just every day at some point in my career, I just walked into work, BoJack Horsemaning.
Yeah.
Just going, you're a piece of shit. You're a piece of shit. You're a piece of shit. You're a piece of shit.
The thing I wonder though is like, if you're a news outlet, and then like this, especially this time round, right? Before Anwar was announced PM, was it the Vibes or some other outlet actually announced it first?
There were a few.
They announced it first.
So it was, if I'm not mistaken, it was FMT followed by the Vibes followed by NST.
Yeah. So like I could imagine like, once that news
and
got
also
out,
Mel Go from CNA, she also jumped the gun. I just need that on the record.
Yeah. So how relieved was everybody when
You just gotta
he actually
you gotta dig one into CNA. Oh, look at you, well researched.
Yeah.
So many resources.
it
You're
is-
from a
it is
fucking
reporting on
rich
Malaysian
country.
news for times 3,
Shiv.
No, it's only, I think FMT actually retracted the story and apologized.
Yeah.
The Vibes deleted it, but we didn't apologize, and the NST didn't do it at all. I think Mel Go, she apologized and deleted the tweet or something like that. But it's one of those things where you have your sources and your journalistic integrity tells you that I'm right, but maybe I could have worded it differently, or maybe I jumped the gun too soon, or which level of the pecking order did I skip to put that story out?
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, it was true, right?
And then there's also this thing, right, where like, there's the statements that all these like people put out, like politicians or parties and all that.
Yeah.
And then there's also the rumblings, the stuff that gets forwarded on WhatsApp, insider news.
Correct.
Yeah.
So like, what can you guys publish? If it's insider news, like, do you guys just stand by and await press statement so that you can get it out ASAP, or do you like?
It boils down to the individual journalist. If I have a source that tells me that, let's say you forward me a message and I ask like someone related to it, and I know that that guy is in the position to actually know whether it's true or not, and I trust that person, then I could run that story as according to sources or quoting sources, but that will put my journalistic integrity on the line. If I'm not confident about my source, about his intentions and why he would tell me something like that, then I won't run it. So
I had a boss who would just mumble grumble anytime a news article came in and it had the word sources say, like, I'm not sources
ABC sauce, chili sauce, tomato sauce.
thank you.
bloody bastard.
No, because on the other end, on the one hand, you have veteran journalists who have been at it for 30, 40 years, and their sources are big deals, right?
Yeah.
So their sources are legit. When they run a source story, it's true.
Yeah.
But then on the other end, you can also have this, you can have anyone just write, according to sources, the sun rises in the west, right?
Yeah.
It's that kind of thing. So at the end of the day, that's the crucial thing, I think, where the world is facing now, is talking about journalistic integrity, whether or not you believe that person, whether or not you believe that agency, that title. And that is a battle that we are fighting right now.
And that's the weird thing right now. Like we don't even know what facts are facts.
Yeah.
We can't even tell what is true and what is not, because there's no way to ascertain anything.
How can we see if our eyes aren't real?
Wow.
That's the Will Smith's boy lah.
Hey, what tea is this, Stephen Bones?
Good, right?
It's really good, yeah.
Really
Correct.
good, yeah.
Correct.
It's the ancient tree pu'er.
Ancient
tree poor.
Chinese they call it 古树茶.
kusucha. That's what they call him in school.
Yeah. No joke, I actually used to just sit down and nap underneath a giant tree.
Like Buddha.
Like Buddha. No, people literally go up and like, hey, you Buddha! Because it was Penang Free School. They had giant trees with crevices, and you could literally nuzzle yourself in, right? So you really literally look like you're trying to meditate for numbers or some shit. You know?
But with the sleeping Buddha thing, one thing I don't understand about it, right? There are multiple image variations of Buddha.
Yeah.
Like there's like chubby Buddha, the prosperous one, and then there's like the
emaciated
thinner,
one.
the leaner one,
yeah.
But the sleeping one is always
the same, quite fit. Like,
the fit Buddha.
Like I would swipe
like
right
lean
kind
Buddha.
of Buddha.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever seen
trap Buddha.
Oh my god! But yeah, I don't think I've ever seen like the sleeping Buddha, but in the
Actually,
the chunky
you're right.
version, yeah.
It's always just
But not here lah.
not here.
even the ones in like Thailand and all that, they're all just normal fit Buddha, like thirst trap Buddha.
Because the fat Buddha is a Chinese sage, right? Buddhai. So he's not the Buddha, he is a Buddha.
Oh, as in you're talking about the bald guy, the big.
Yeah.
But those aren't Buddha. They're not the Buddha, like
They're
you
not
said.
the Buddha. The Buddha is an Indian fella from
from
Siddhartha Gautama, and he's lean because he comes from that tradition of you fast in the forest until you get enlightenment, etc. Right?
But then there's still no sleeping.
There's no sleep.
Correct. Why is
There's
this?
no-
Because Buddha gotta sleep, man. It's hard being enlightened. We're in journalism. We know how hard it is to know the truth and then tell no one. Do you know how hard we want to sleep?
Oh gosh.
You were a prince and now you are a pauper because you found out that life has no meaning and except for suffering, which is exactly what it feels like being in the newsroom when you're looking for world stories. Okay,
He's right.
he's
He's very right.
Have you achieved some kind of weird sort of like recreational sociopathy when you're doing world news, where you're practically begging for something terrible to happen in the world just so you have something to talk about?
Oh yeah, it does. It does.
So
do
my
that.
boss is going, please, let there be an earthquake in Indonesia somewhere because I need something to put in my fucking paper because my boss says I need to put a news report from every story in ASEAN.
Oh yeah,
as a
you'll have
rule.
that. The Star has
Like
that
legit.
kind of-
Legit.
Oh my god.
We need to find something. And if there's nothing happening, then I don't know, you fudge it some way or you use an old story, but you got to find something. Or you use a drop pick. Do you know what a drop pick is? It's the one where it's just a picture with a long caption.
Okay.
And you can fudge it and say that's kind of a story, but it's not. You just ran out of shit. Now you got to fill up space.
The weird thing I never understood with a lot of like online articles, not so much with the vibes, but I see this in like the Chinese papers, like this, like the main newspaper sites lah, right? The recent one was what? I think like Douglas Lim's Ado parody song, and then it just in that same site, it just cuts to a different article like. In Thailand, like 5 people got murdered or something. And I'm like, why do they do that? Why do they do that? Yeah.
It's a compilation, sort of like, it's news bits being put together in the same article, and then you got to.
Oh, that was the one, right? Yeah, Douglas Lim Ado, and then suddenly it's like an accident in Taiwan or something.
Yeah, and I'm like, what is like if it's all entertainment news, I get it.
Yeah.
But this has zero relation. You're not, other than the little like dashed line that they put across, there's no real separation of anything.
You know why? Because it was a slow news day and you needed to fill up space.
Correct.
Oh my God.
That's what happened.
Yeah. But it's online. It's digital. It's a digital article.
It just means that they didn't have enough for the first story and they didn't have enough for the second story. So they're like, you know what? These two are completely different. Let's put them together.
Bro, there have been times where we are pulling our hair out of our heads. Even the Tudong lady who is just frantic looking for stories to put on the page because there's nothing to report. And everything else is too frivolous or too political. Or it's a news report that your boss tells you not to put in.
Ooh.
Because it's negative about something that maybe secretly the company is actually supportive of.
Ooh.
So if it's nothing but bad news about the thing that you're supportive of, you just don't talk about it. But now you're left with nothing.
Correct. That's true.
So you're talking about, I don't know, emu farming in Australia or some shit.
And then suddenly Douglas Lim.
Speaking of large angry birds,
comedian Douglas Lim introduced his latest song.
Adoy, which is the sound you make when you get attacked by an emu.
Correct.
Oh God. So okay, election season. What was it like as a on-ground journalist for you? Was it the first time you were covering?
It was
something like this?
It was the first time, and it was
your first election. I was so concerned that you would die.
I almost did die.
I'll
be honest. Like
that's the rite of passage right there.
I've met a lot of younger people that I feel in like me interviewing them for work and all that. They tend to be a bit incapable of handling even small amounts of stress. So I'd always make fun of them for that. But after this whole month of just working 30-something days non-stop, I almost died, and I still feel like I made it through, but at what cost? It was tough. It's literally 30 days no break, and you're driving like the first week after nomination day. I think I did like 1,500 kilometers in 1 week. Just traveling up and down, interviewing people, doing videos and this and that.
Yep.
And then after the pre-election season was like crazy that week before. It's just every day there's a ceramah you have to go for. There's a press conference you have to go for. And it didn't end with polling day because we stretched on for another week. So it was just 4 weeks of intenseness all the way. And it was very, 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 very strenuous. But honestly, it was damn fun.
Yeah. I found it, I was following the news, especially after the election vote count was all done.
Yeah.
I felt very bad for the journalists who had to hang out at either at the UMNO buildings or at the PKI quarters or the Istana there. Because I'm like, y'all are just there.
Yeah.
Correct.
And you wait.
And then like, all the updates we're getting as regular people are like, Zahid Hamidi's car has entered the Istana.
Yes.
I was like, what?
What does it mean?
What is it? So, like,
did you get any of Anwar's popcorn? Tell me the truth.
Two motorcycles were seen with Anwar Ibrahim's motorcade.
In a heavily guarded.
At some point, you had to report on the Oyen that just showed up out of nowhere.
The cat
gave up and like, okay, I'm gonna talk to this cat. Like, it probably knows more than I do.
That's psychosis setting in. That's what's happening.
Because it's like the format. Like last time when there was on newspapers, it would be within 24 hours what happens, and then you publish the full to date. But now especially on Twitter, people want it now. They want to know what's happening right now, this second. So that's how the live updates became a thing.
Yeah.
And
I was like, how come Twitter doesn't know what or the result of what's going to happen 1 week from now? How does Twitter not know yet? Like, this is embarrassing, Twitter.
No, because you think
get your shit together, Twitter.
you need to understand Twitter Jaya is really just a glorified YouTube comment section, right?
Yeah.
So you have a lot of people who are very opinionated until it matters. Now, then you realize, oh, these fuckers don't know anything.
Yeah.
Now it's people whose job it is to find out information to just sit there and wait while the people in power tell you nothing. And even in the subdesk where it's a relatively cushy job, that's what you do. You stew in your own anxiety for 5 hours straight, waiting for the inevitable to come. And when it finally comes, you are so relieved when the news comes in for 5 seconds.
Yep.
And then you realize just how much crap you have to edit right before it goes in.
It's like literally you wait 5 hours of nothing is happening for a 5-minute doorstopper.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And that's just the job lah.
Yeah, because it was like, you guys, like people waiting outside Anwar's residence for like 6-7 hours.
Yeah, correct.
And then the update is that Anwar came out to give food.
Yeah, no, great guys. Thanks very much. We're just waiting for the future of the country, but thanks for the bihun goreng, you asshole.
But I mean, I guess it's part and parcel of like what they do lah. We can't really like navigate around this, right?
At the end of the day, every newsman is kiasu as hell.
Yeah.
They want to get the scoop. They want to be the first. So the more things happen, the more you need to send people all over the place.
Yeah.
And quite often you will send someone like maybe 3-hour drive away and nothing happens.
Yeah.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, that has happened before multiple times.
In the old days, what my bosses would do is that if you can't get into the fire station because some important building burned down, you go around the corner, find the gerai where all the firemen are having lunch, and you get shit from there.
Yep.
Because it's a combination of you need something to write, and also you are just so bored.
Yeah.
Can we make up something?
People.
Can we just make up something?
I think that might have happened before. And when that happens, now you get accused of being fake news by some demagogue, and now you're competing with conspiracy sites on QAnon.
Okay, but like you're working with the vibes,
Yes.
right? And then we know for a fact, like when it comes to digital media outlets, you know, there is the left leaning, there's the right leaning, and all that.
Correct.
But you know, in an ideal world, journalism should be that middle ground where there's no bias, right?
Correct.
But unfortunately, we're all human beings, so there's always bias built into us. So, like, how do you guys handle that? Or are you guys like leaning to one side to begin with?
It starts really at the editors, especially the big bosses and the people that decide what stories go out and don't. You need to, for sure, your news sense tells you that somebody saying something extremely racist is good news because people want to read it.
Yeah.
Is it good for society? It's probably not. But you need to put it out there because it's a fact, it's a thing that happened, it's newsworthy. But then also, like we were talking earlier about the when you have a suicide story or a story involving minors, something like that, you play it in such a way that you don't highlight the fact that, you know, sometimes they say that kid could have been blamed for running across the street in the middle of the night, but you play it down because he's a kid, you know, poor thing, he doesn't know anything.
Yeah, because it's
Right.
borderline opinion already, right?
Yes, correct.
Yeah.
So that's how you need to. In a sense, it is adjusting the facts in such a way that you present them accurately, but you present them in a way that is compassionate, I feel, and that's a tough line to walk all the time. But in Malaysia, I don't think there are any really truly left-leaning portals or like notable titles, because all of Malaysia, even our politics, our society is very right.
Yeah.
It might be centre right at the very least.
It's lopsided like Quasimodo, just a little bit.
But isn't Malaysia kini like considered?
To a certain degree, you can argue that they have some level of impartiality because, number one, they don't seem to be funded by any like major political groups.
They're funded by the Israeli government.
I mean,
That's what they tell us.
no,
In the final episode of this podcast,
ini semua agenda, yeah. But the thing is that, you know, your smaller online portals tend to be relatively impartial, right? And even if there's pressure coming up from the very top, you know, like where I was, national newspaper, right? What can happen is if you have a particularly good editor, they can soften the bias coming from the top to make it seem impartial. That comes down to like writing and angling and whatnot, right? And that's the only way you can insulate the journalism from the corporate interests on the top. Because those interests don't come in isolation of just the politics.
Yeah.
There are also monetary interests involved here. And in a country where you need a license to run a newspaper, it can just be taken away. I've had bosses that survive Ops Lalang.
Oh my God.
Yeah. These people literally had to go on the street and sell karipap when they lost their jobs.
For real.
For real.
I just bought the Lim Guan Yin comic book. The People's Chief Minister.
Yeah.
And man, reading, like I've only heard about Ops Lalang.
Yeah.
Right, but never really knew like what it was truly about. I just knew okay, some people got hauled up, that kind of thing.
Yeah, yeah.
But I never knew like how like insane
It was the ultimate crackdown on free speech in Malaysia, really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
After Ops Lalang, all of your newspapers were basically infiltrated by pro-government newsmen.
Yeah.
Right? So I was told that at some point, the Star, New Straits Times started getting higher ups that were from like Bernama and whatnot, right? So now and then there is a direct line to the Prime Minister's office on the like the chief editor's office and whatnot. So if you're running a story or you preview a story to them that they don't like, you will get a phone call from the Prime Minister's department.
Oh dang.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I did get to read the news when I was working in radio for a while. Government station. And yeah, the news I had to read at the time, like...
What year was this?
I believe it was when Najib was still
Yeah.
in power.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Back in the day. The good old days.
So when I was reading that stuff, right, I almost didn't know how to contain my laughter while reading some of the articles.
No,
because it's written in such a way that, you know, you're barely stating facts.
Yeah.
You are really just polishing boots at that point.
Right.
Yeah.
It's propaganda. It becomes
It's propaganda straight up.
This is, I think, towards the end of my stint at the Star. It kind of felt like that just a little bit, because you walk in and you're just like, I'm just lying to people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You just like, you know, and you're just like, when you finally get retrenched, you're like, oh my God, thank God. I don't have to lie to people constantly anymore. Because that can weigh heavily. Like, you go in and you're pumped full of this sense of pride that you are, you know, telling the truth to people, right? You are letting people know things that they need to know. And then you realize, oh, you live in the real world and there are a bunch of compromises you have to make.
Yeah.
Every dog has a master, man. There's no such thing as a completely free and independent press.
Yeah.
It is completely impossible. Maybe I personally think the best example is the BBC in the UK.
Yeah.
Because they always get bashed for being too left. They always get bashed for being too right, which means they're probably doing something good.
Yeah.
But in Malaysia specifically, there are portals that have a proximity to absolute objectivity, but no one has that absolute objectivity.
This is a big issue I have like with journalism, because like,
all right, let's hear
if
this.
it's funded,
let's hear this.
yeah.
Let's go.
Okay, if it's funded by the government,
Yep.
right? Its interest at some point or another and its survival will lie with the government.
Correct.
If it's funded by corporations, all right, that means private company.
Right.
Its interest and survivability will lie with that.
Right.
And if you are not like, that is just not independence.
No.
Right? So there's no way to be and to like have independent journalism when revenue is an issue, when even things like, you know, like you mentioned, like making sure people click on articles, like clickbait and advertising and all that, that is an issue. Like, is it even possible? Like, what the only thing I can probably think of is like, you know, like how we have like separation of like whatchamacallit, like the justice system from parliament and all that.
Oh no, that ended with 1988.
Yeah.
You know, now got a bit lah.
Yeah, now got a bit lah.
Malaysia,
Ish lah.
You have a free press. Malaysia is a free press.
Yeah. No, but it's that thing of as long as news organizations are subservient to a higher entity that is centralized.
That will all. That's why I don't think there's a solution to that, because at the end of the day, news does not make money. Because the most important thing in the world is not something people want to pay for, right? So that you will always need somebody to be willing to fork out this amount of money and lose that amount of money.
Yeah.
And if I'm putting out $1 billion a year, what am I going to get in return?
Yeah.
So there really is no solution.
So is it possible for like a taxpayer funded thing where
That's what the BBC is. The
That's what
BBC,
the
is,
BBC
is funded by a certain percentage of the annual budget goes to the BBC to produce. So the BBC runs on 3 tenets: to inform, educate, and entertain. And that is basically the soul of the BBC that they've been running since they were founded in like the 40s, I think. And it's worked the best there. You also have in America, Australia, they have public broadcasters.
PBS.
ABC and all that. They're the same thing, but it's just the degree of how far they lean and how high quality their journalists are.
When my mom was teaching in Hawaii, she, anthropologist, right, teaching in Hawaii.
Yeah.
She said the only place that you could actually get decent, not even report coverage of events happening at the time, because she was in America protesting the Iraq war, right? So really dicey. And she said that in America, the news is just angled so hard it might as well be a pirate ship in a storm, right? Just either left or right, very, very hard.
Yeah.
So she figured the only thing that she could watch to see political coverage is C-SPAN.
Oh, C-SPAN is boring as hell.
But that's the problem, isn't it? It is boring as shit.
C-SPAN in America
They don't even put that in airports, right?
No.
That's how boring it
They put it in the anesthesia room of a surgery ward.
C-SPAN is basically a GoPro in Senate. Like, it's just there while they're having their things going on. And it's the most boring thing.
Yeah.
But if you understand issues and you understand who's talking about these issues, you gain a very keen understanding of what the issue is about and where it's going, and who's the dirtbag in the office, right?
Yeah.
In the hall. But the problem is that in order to really gain full advantage of the news, you need to kind of be educated about what's going on as well, and that comes with experience and whatnot.
Yeah.
Right? Like when I was much younger, for some odd reason, my uncle, despite never reading it, subscribed to like every newspaper in English. So, New Straits Times, Star, Malay Mail, fucking Cosmo at one point.
Cosmo?
Cosmo, I do not like Cosmo.
Cosmo is great crime news, man.
Yeah, but I have personal beef with them for reasons that are too long to explain. And it's like the only way you can get decent coverage if you have 2 hours after breakfast to just read everything word by word, and then take and keep in mind that this newspaper is owned by this political party. This newspaper is solidly controlled by the government. This one is relatively independent but sensationalist, right? So you have to you have to develop your own filter for how the news is angled and where it goes. And sometimes what you can do, if you're very perceptive, is that certain pieces of the news are either put in the back pages because they don't want you to see it, or why is this piece of news in the front page? Is it hiding something? It's called a dead cat strategy.
Ooh, okay.
The idea is that you put very emotionally engaging news on the front because there's other news that also came in that is more relevant but more boring in the back. So you have no choice but to know everything. Are you depressed yet?
Yeah, it's really sad.
Now try doing this for 5 years, Steven.
Just downhill from there.
So then, like, okay, but what is the hope for journalism then in this country?
Because
you go first.
Memes.
Memes, correct.
Yeah, because news outlets are still like constantly popping up.
Correct.
Every
give you
year there's like a
example,
new
BFM 89.9 on Twitter. Not BFM News on Twitter. I just need to clarify that. BFM not news on Twitter. They do a lot of educational, informative content. That they use memes, they use hilarious shit. They always blame stuff on the intern.
Yeah.
That's the kind of like the equivalent in America would be Vox, which does educational journalism.
Yeah, and early Vice.
And early Vice,
Vice.
correct? Yeah,
Yeah.
correct. So they pick apart a topic and they explain it to you in such a simple, straightforward manner with really good visuals. That would ideally be that. Malaysia doesn't have that now, except BFM's probably doing it.
Yeah.
The Vibes does try on our Instagram page.
Yeah.
The Star did try with their Rage team, right?
Correct.
The Rage is because they're run by the Lee brothers, right? At least they were run by the
Bruce and Brandon.
Bruce and Brendan. Beautiful hair. I model my hair after them. What? It's true. I'm constantly. You should get a haircut. Look, if fucking Lee brothers can walk around looking like Mark Rock Kapat from 1985.
Are their names really Bruce and Brandon?
No, it's not
Lee. I was
Lee.
making a joke.
Yee brothers.
Yee
Yeah,
brothers.
Yee brothers. Correct.
I don't Chinese well, but which is ironic because I work in the staff for 5 years.
Oh.
But here's the thing: those guys, they are committed
Yes.
to good. A thing you don't see anymore in newspapers, investigative journalism.
Oh yeah, I haven't seen one of those in ages, dude.
Yeah, you don't get investigative journalists anymore. You see snippets of it in Vice and with BFM, but you don't see like these borderline documentary style journalistic things.
The closest we have these days, I guess, would be Sarawak Report.
Yeah, to
That's
a certain
it.
degree.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
They do that.
Yang tu pun it took a white lady to do it.
Yeah.
From Britain,
From Britain.
spreading that BBC ideology.
There you go. Thick, veiny BBC. Get it.
To inform, educate, and penetrate.
What?
Get up in them facts.
Get up in them facts.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Oh jeez. No, but it's ironically her last name is Brown. No, it's
Okay.
you don't see the investigative journalism anymore,
Yeah.
and you might see it in online portals like Vice and whatnot, where the investigative journalism has to be in video format because there is so much detail that needs to be captured.
Yeah.
Right. And for a while, Al Jazeera English was amazing with this.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Our good friend Tak, who was in the show, used to work for Al Jazeera English.
For real.
He never told you, right? Yeah, I used to do video for Al Jazeera English.
Like Aoyong Tak.
I was
That
in the
Tak.
same office as Tak. You don't know, Well, you both used to
Tak
work
knew English at the time.
Yeah,
knew
I know.
enough English to work for
He
Al
used to
Jazeera.
complain to me about the English subtitling in the video section.
Oh my gosh.
Tak knows enough Adobe Premiere Pro to get by.
Yeah.
He's very good at this.
His autocorrect kung fu very strong.
Autocollect.
First you autocorrect, and then for payment you autocollect.
Okay, cool. Next joke.
And she beat me with a pipe.
So I was waiting outside Istana Negara, right?
Oh my god.
You see what I mean? News is more fun with the memes.
Yeah. But dude, when Tak was here, all he was asking and talking about was like, hey, so do you guys hook up with girls from the comedy scene? Do you guys do one night stands? You know?
All
you guys go pick
journalists,
up girls.
all journalists are horny, lah. Please, we're all desperate, alone, and horny. It's true. I gotta change my bed sheets. Anyway, they can stand on their own at this point.
Worst popiah skin ever.
Oh, dude.
No, it's a wonton skin, fried.
Oh god.
It's gonna flop. Anyway, no, but it is true though. In that, the news is so boring when you leave it alone. It has to be engaging, dramatic, entertaining, which is what the BBC talks about, or their three things.
3 pillars. Yeah.
So, ironically, especially in places where conspiracy theories and fake news and very partisan news portals exist, the one place you can find like good investigative reporting is the comedy networks.
Actually, that's true. Even in the States, like it was like people like Jon Stewart, offering that voice, and then after that you have like John Oliver.
Yeah.
Correct. Stephen Colbert.
Yeah.
John Oliver has done more investigative journalism than some actual news networks, man.
Yeah.
Holy crap.
Trevor Noah in The Daily Show, and then Hassan Minhaj. Right. ironically, it turns out that the best reporting you can find is a bloody comedy show.
Correct.
Which really tells you something, because what that tells you is that the state of the world has gotten so absurd. You need a person who deals in absurdity just to tell you.
Correct.
Because if
to
you tell it,
contextualize it, constrictor boa.
To give consent.
I've heard like 5
give
different
consent.
sex terms in that stuttering of yours. Context is
Contracts. Contracts. Yes, she contracted something. Contextualize.
Why lah? How lah?
As long as the contract was tendered.
So tired. I sit down. I lie down first. Now you know why Buddha has to lie down lah. No.
But I'm like, with this election, I was a lot of people are concerned with like the whole Undi 18 thing, because you have like a whole demographic of potentially voters who are not very knowledgeable in terms of politics and all that.
Yes.
Which I find that argument semi-mute, because I don't think most people.
Yeah, correct. It's not just the young people. It's not-
most people don't know, right?
Right.
But one shining example I saw was like guys like Fahmi Reza was like, dude, he was like blowing up on TikTok doing like his class democracy, going
Correct.
to like UiTM and all the universities,
Right.
Getting kicked out.
getting kicked out.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah, and I found it so strange, because it's like, he's not telling you who to vote for.
No.
He's not even implying who you should vote for.
Correct.
He's just telling you how the system works.
Correct.
Yeah.
Or it's supposed to work. And like, that's it,
Yep.
That's
And
it.
I
And he
think
still gets kicked out.
What's really important for a lot of people to know, that I think people like you and I and Lance over here take for granted, is that a lot of us don't know about simple meddling techniques in politics, and they happen, like gerrymandering. We all know what gerrymandering is, but
To be fair, I only learned that word in GE 13 or 14.
Yeah,
at least you learn.
Correct.
Yeah.
Some people still
It's
don't
been
know.
2 elections since then. At least you
Who
learn.
is Jerry? He's a man, but what is he doing?
My boss was
Meandering.
actually called Jerry. I used
Nice.
to call her gerrymandering. Anyway,
That's why you left the job.
we had the same hair. What we would like to do is that I would just let her talk to my boss, and then she'd zip out, and then I just swap in, and then my boss would just keep thinking he was talking to the same person.
God.
We're all insane, lah. All
Yeah.
news desks are insane.
That is true.
We're
Okay.
all just demented. But yeah, no. The most important thing Fahmi Reza did, I think, was inform people on how election fraud can happen, or meddling can happen. Gerrymandering is a really good example of this, because it's such a subtle system, right? The idea that you can make votes count for less if you just make the population have less people, or more people.
One good example of this is Bangi and Putrajaya, the parliament constituencies, next to each other, right?
Yes.
Bangi has like 500,000 voters. Putrajaya has 50,000. So basically, you're saying that one vote in Putrajaya is worth like 10 times more than one vote
Exactly.
in Bangi.
Which is exactly what people were going up in arms about last time, because like Selangor, you had these places where like the population density is so high,
Yeah.
but then every vote matters, but suddenly versus this other place, this rural area that has like maybe 1,000 people staying there.
Yeah.
Correct.
The real power of gerrymandering isn't the fact that you have fewer people to focus on. It's you also have fewer people to bribe,
Yes.
That's true.
or fewer people to influence.
Yeah.
With the whole Unti 18 thing, I think the joke was amongst comedians was that from now on, Zoomers don't get any say about how the rest of us fucked up the future,
Yeah.
because you fell for it. You fell for it like you thought we always do. They had to do was make the lie palatable to you, and you would buy it as well. And that's a real danger that a lot of people, particularly progressive people, don't understand. Your shit can backfire. You had people like Said Sadiq thinking, we're politically informed, we're well educated, we don't have a low opinion on the youth, we're going to let the youth vote.
Yeah.
And then realize that not everybody is an English-speaking, ostensibly Ricks, Mace, urban, nerd, social outcast who has no choice but to be politically informed because you have no friends.
Are you talking about yourself or Said Sadiq?
We're the same person, lah.
No, but one aspect of everyone always talks about Undi 18, but automatic voter registration, the fact that if you are over the age of 18 and you live in that place, you're eligible to vote there, full stop, right?
Yeah.
That led to so many more people coming out.
Yeah.
Yes.
Which is a good thing.
It's great. Previously, people were like, register, no point. Like, what's the point? So
Yeah.
you remove that barrier, then more people are like, hey, what are you doing tomorrow? Come, let's go vote.
Yeah.
So that helped. And Undi 18, I remember there was a study saying that Undi 18 would not be that impactful because where it actually made a difference were already those seats already had one party that the people chose. So if all those youth got together and voted for the other party, it still wouldn't make a difference.
Yeah.
But AVR, automatic voter registration, that was the one that I think it took quite a lot of people, myself included, by surprise. It's like, oh shit, people actually do care. They just couldn't be bothered to go to post office and
That's true.
Yeah.
sign the thing and all that.
That's the one good thing that allowed people to engage in the system when they know automatically that they're a part of it. Because one thing that can happen, this happens in like America, voter suppression, right? You have to register, you have to line up, the booths are not open in certain places. I don't know, but I kind of suspected it was happening in like Pantai Baru or something because the booth didn't open up until 11:30.
Ooh.
And
Strange.
before this, it was like heavily flooded, and people were waiting outside for 5 hours to vote and whatnot. And you had a whole bunch of politicians from PK going, this feels like voter suppression,
Yeah.
right? But a lot of people showed up, and no one would make any noise if people didn't show up.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like this is a resource you have, regardless of which side of the political divide you're on.
Yeah.
You just have to see if you can persuade the people lah, because now you got more to work on.
Because the early argument that Pakatan Harapan threw at BN was that setting the election in November, one, it was like the most inconvenient time because due to the floods, the potential floods and all this kind of stuff, and there was rhetoric that low voter turnout would work in.
It would have worked in BN's favor.
Yeah, but I think no one saw the automatic voter registration.
No one did.
No.
No one expected that many people to come out.
Because we all went from like, everyone went from like, okay, last G, yeah, we're like, oh, voter, yeah. And then after that, it's like, government fell apart.
Correct. Yeah.
I don't want to
What's
vote
the
anymore, don't vote anymore.
Exactly.
Then change prime minister again, I don't want to vote anymore, like, what's the point?
Correct.
And then suddenly, like, 2 weeks going to election, like, let's do this, bro. Let's do this.
It's very much this thing where if you make something as easy as going to the mama, they'll just do it.
Yeah.
Because it's...
And also I think towards the end, the fact that it was such a short period from like parliament dissolving to elections, that a lot of people felt like, oh, you guys are really desperate, right? Like, why is this so? The people who might have previously voted for the PH and were currently on the fence would now be like, oh, there's another reason for me to vote against them. And on top of that, you've got AVR, so everybody's just showing up. So it proved, I feel that at the end of the day, the Anwar Ibrahim and Pakatan Harapan really got to put their narrative together very solidly in a way that they didn't before.
Yeah, it was very different.
I mean,
It was.
In the case of Anwar, he's been waiting for years now.
Yeah.
He's been waiting for
Then by
decades.
PM to PM.
Yeah.
But the one that blindsided everybody was Perikatan Nasional, sial.
Yeah.
Because like I was,
Correct.
even when I was driving around, I was like, why are they even putting up flags?
Correct.
Because at least in my tunnel,
Yep.
they seem non-existent. It seemed like they had zero shot.
No, it's PAS.
Yeah.
It's PAS. It's not.
Yeah.
Bersatu is all the biggest traitors that went to Bersatu lost.
Yes.
Azmin, Zuraida,
Yeah.
all these people. But
Yes.
PAS has this is the thing. Second to UMNO, right? PAS has the best machinery.
I will second this.
A PAS leader will snap their fingers, and there'll be 10,000 people marching on the streets tomorrow, and they'll do it out of the kindness of their hearts. PAS has always been able to do that. So now they suddenly got a lot of money because their election campaign was crazy. I think it was probably in the 6, 7, 8 figures sum to spend on a campaign. And how did they manage to mobilize so many people in their favor? They just made everyone seem bad.
But then Twitter Jaya also saying that this election, that PN won so many votes because of TikTok.
Oh they did. I read a Twitter thread that said PN had spent I think almost 100 million on TikTok videos in terms of getting influencers. Yeah, correct. They spent a lot of money.
100 million.
There are so many. Even there were people talking about porn stars, basically Malaysian adult film actors posting a video in a Perikatan Nasional shirt.
Yeah.
I remember there was this one influencer lah, I think Malay girl, like initially she was campaigning for like one party and then another party paid her and she was like
correct.
put on a different shirt and everyone's like, yo. Can you pick a side?
Was this No Fatia from Batu? Because I know she was an independent, but then she wore a Bersatu shirt.
No. She was a Bersatu member before.
Or was she a Bersatu member before? Okay.
Yeah. Sorry, but you were saying just now.
No, because a lot of people don't seem to understand a couple of things. Number one, you keep underestimating people in the heartland. Yeah. You keep underestimating people in Sabah and Sarawak. And you keep forgetting where their inclinations lie. It's not national issues. They just want to eat at the end of the day. Right? And if you're a populist, that's a very easy vote to get, number one. Number two, if your party's been there since forever, then they're going to vote for you because they know who you are.
Yeah.
If you look at PH, a lot of them were parachuted in.
Yep.
Yeah.
This is an issue. You saw this with, I'm not remember, KJ, who won by a narrow margin. And the only reason it was a narrow margin because it was KJ.
Yeah.
And he still lost to a guy who is just there.
Practically unknown.
Yeah. With PAS, they're just there. It's very difficult to vote for the other side when the candidate is literally just the bachi, drinking coffee in your neighborhood, right? So it's a couple of things. It's the indoctrination and the fact that they're actually a part of the community. Yeah. And number two, and I cannot stress this enough for everybody who says that people vote for PAS because they're backward and, indoctrinated and, they just hate. No, it's not that. You forget that PH won in 2018 because of PAS's machinery.
That's true.
13.
You can't deny that.
13.
2018, I mean. The last election. They won, PH won because of PAS's machinery. People forget that.
No, 2013. Pakatan Rakyat.
Pakatan Rakyat.
2013, because
remember after 2018, then Muafakat Nasional came about where UMNO and PAS became besties.
Yeah, and then
they hold the Chris together.
And then 2018 we had Amanah already, ma.
Yes, correct.
Because Amanah broke away from PAS.
Correct. Yes, 2013.
Was it 2013?
2013.
Yeah.
Pakatan Rakyat, which was PAS, DAP, PKR.
Yeah.
Yeah, these three fellas.
So in any case,
but machinery, they have good machinery.
They have very good.
But what?
Very, very good machinery.
But a lot of people also will mention this thing of like, they keep questioning, okay, why do people keep voting for PAS? Because like, the states that they hold on to don't see much development apparently. I've not been there, so I can't really say.
This is a fact, right? Kelantan has more voters than it has residents. Because everybody in Kelantan moves to the city or moves elsewhere, and they still vote so they go back, and apparently those people all vote for PAS, despite the fact that residents, locals in these places don't actually want PAS.
If you talk,
I don't know how accurate that last bit is.
If you talk to Irfan, who was on the last episode, he'll confirm this.
Wow.
Because he'll tell you locals in Kelantan don't like PAS anymore, but they can't get away from them because a lot of people who made money in other places come back and then keep voting for PAS as a form of, state solidarity and identity.
But wouldn't these people who come to like the urban areas, which a lot of times are like held by like the PH and component parties, wouldn't they be like, hey, this is actually pretty nice. Like there's actually development. Why don't, my state get in on this as well?
There's not development that goes into the heartland, into the rural areas. They're still very poor. And, they were only in power for 2 years before this.
Yeah.
There's only so much you can do. If there are things such as deforestation, flooding, landslides, these take years to repair.
Yeah.
Right? And not just from an infrastructure standpoint, from a legal standpoint, to draft laws to make sure don't do this, no more, hilltop developments, no more deforestation, etc. You need to get everybody to agree with this in Parliament.
Yeah. That's sad, dude. The fact that it takes minutes to plant a tree, it takes minutes to cut a tree down, but it takes like years, not even for the tree to grow, but to discuss whether or not we should plant the tree.
Yeah.
Like, what the hell, man?
It takes years to just decide whether you should cut it down or not.
Yeah. Like, can't you just like, let's plant it first, and then like, if we decide that we don't want it, then we cut it down again lah.
There's this thing that I think a lot of people miss about PAS is how PAS came to be. PAS came to be as a party. It was obviously the founder like in opposition to UMNO, right?
Yeah.
People were sick and tired of UMNO's whatever they were doing at the time, and they wanted something that was more true to their view of religion, their view of how religion should be involved in a government.
Yeah.
And the Raqib knows this, and Irfan will tell you, the people that joined PAS back in the day were professionals, like professionals. You're talking about high-ranking civil servants, architects, doctors and all that. These are people who educated, they know what they want for themselves, their families, their children, but they just don't want UMNO.
Wow,
Yeah.
I'm gonna get so much crap for saying
In
this,
19
but
in
so
In
I'm
1977,
gonna get a lot of crap for this.
yeah.
So, PAS is the Malay DAP lah.
Wow.
I'm gone.
Wow.
Taxi. No, you're not wrong though, because you forget these people
'cause-
used to be friends.
Yeah, because like even with like the Chinese parties,
Yeah.
back then you had MCA, Gerakan, and all that, which also had a stranglehold.
Yeah.
And then DAP was kind of like the opposition of
yeah,
that, right?
yeah.
Yeah, that's how it all started going as well.
You forget these people also were in ISA together.
Yeah.
Yes, correct.
You, for instance, okay, for
So up Slalang, like even past.
no, even before
yeah,
that.
correct.
So what I did was, what I do is sometimes I write articles for the Matcha Men, right? I help do the research for Kavin and Kieran and whatnot when they want to write.
I was wondering where all that knowledge actually came from.
Correct. Why so eloquent one?
Yeah.
Shit.
Why are
Kavin
there
can-
facts between these two?
Yeah, I didn't know.
Matchas?
Kavin could read. I thought he was
Yeah.
dyslexic.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean he's got a great memory, but he has to lah.
And Kiran
Yeah.
is sober? Like what?
Yeah. No, you know
Matcha
how
Man
you keep him
podcast, guys. Check
you
it
know
out.
how you keep him sober by depressing him with facts. Love you, Kiran. See you next when I bring the next incredibly depressing story. So the second last one I did was about the Mamali incident, right? Which was this massacre that happened in Kedah in the 80s. And the genesis for that was in the 70s. PAS told UMNO, fuck off, we're revolting against you, we're not going to be a part of you anymore. Because they were allied to BN for a few years
correct,
in the 70s, right? And then all of the people, all of the ulama's, the proper ulama's and PAS said, we don't want to be a part of this anymore.
Yeah.
Right? Especially since the Menteri Besar of Kelantan ran an investigation on our leader for like embezzlement or some shit.
Yeah.
Right? And when they finally went to the elections in the 70s, the mid 70s, they banned rallies. The government banned rallies. Now they can't do rallies anymore.
No lah, they banned rallies because social distancing and all that.
Yeah.
That's right. Way back then.
Way back then.
For cholera,
Chikungunya.
chikungunya, Nipah disease.
Yeah.
So they've had a. So after that, it was like we're not gonna deal with UMNO anymore because they can't be trusted, right? And that's when you get all of these younger ulamas, including Ibrahim Libya, because he was educated in Tripoli,
Yeah.
right? Came up
Educated in Tripoli?
Tripoli. These, when I say they're educated, they're not messing around. These people are
No.
educated,
Wow.
right? But he was part of like this young contingent of ulamas who were very firebrandy. And it's ironic because Ibrahim Limia started out in the Prime Minister's department as a preacher, going on TV to do charamas and whatnot, right? So for him to become suddenly a PAS member, and he was very popular in both Penang and Kedah at the same time, right? And, the leader of PAS at the time, Yusuf Rawa, was also Penangite lah, So you had that on downhole. And if you talk to my dad, who is from Kedah, he'll say, yeah, Baling is the place where revolt happens, right?
That's why it's called Baling.
That's why it's called. We throw you away. You know why it's called Baling? It's because where the Raja Besiung, the Fang King, threw his fangs away.
Oh, dang.
So it's been revolting against authority for a long time, right? As the legend goes. So what happened with all of these young ulamas in the 80s? All ISA. All ISA. These included Yusuf Rawa, Nik Aziz, Ibrahim Limia, and one young Hadi Awang.
Mat Sabu also.
Mat Sabu
No,
also.
Mat Sabu at the time as well.
Mat Sabu was it 98? You know. Because I know that there's a story that Mat Sabu taught Lim Guan Eng how to cook fish curry
In prison,
in
yeah.
Kamunting.
Prison,
Yeah, correct.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he's a good cook. He's a good cook. So
He cooks for all the press that show up at his house.
you joke one of these days he's gonna pull
probably gonna do it. Yeah.
he's gonna pull a Boris and start serving people teh tarik at the doorstep. You just wait.
Set up a garage, set up a stall. From his
If he
house.
does, I wouldn't blink an eyelid.
Correct, yes. Sabu satay.
Sabu satay.
Every now and then, okay, Guan Eng and Sabu will come to my brother's restaurant and to hang.
Oh, that's nice.
It's very sweet. And then Kit Siang will be there. And then what's really, really heartwarming for me is when Guan Eng gets annoyed at his dad for being fussy with the food.
Oh,
yeah,
no.
it's fine lah. It's fine. I order for you. It's okay. You eat lah. I order.
They're representing Penang. Lah.
Yeah. And I'm like,
Not even from Penang.
I do that also with my mom.
Don't worry lah, chill lah.
I know, it's fine. It's tasty. You will like it. You just relax, sit down. I'm like, relationships are rocky no matter where you go. So these two parties, even in a personal capacity, they get along. These politicians. So it really struck me as weird when Hadi Awang of all people went pro UMNO, because he was part of the original contingent of people who told UMNO to fuck off.
But that's never been like the moment they went pro UMNO, like that period.
Yeah.
It seemed like, at least to me, it seemed like nobody knew that previously they were against.
Because the leader of PAS at the time didn't like DAP and they didn't like opposition.
Yeah.
It also
The anti-DAP thing, that one has been since day one. That's been very consistent, yeah.
because you have this interesting, subtle dichotomy between how politics is thought of amongst leaders.
Yeah.
Some people think of it as I am Muslim and I am anti-government, right? And then the other side of PAS is like, I think of myself as Malay first, right? And then I have all of these other issues. And if that is your mindset, UMNO makes a lot of sense, especially with all of the advantages that it can give you when you want to win an election.
Yeah.
But this is the same party that will put your people in jail if you speak up against them, right? And remember, the prime minister at the time was a young black hat Tun Mahathir, right?
Back in the good old days.
Very good old days. And Musa Hitam was the Minister of
deputy.
Defense, Internal Affairs, I think.
Home Minister, yeah.
Home
correct,
Minister.
Correct.
So if you screw up, you're gonna see bars, man. And I don't mean Kendrick Lamar albums.
Wow. I like how it went from like 1970s, 1980s, Tun M to Kendrick Lamar. Boom.
Fish curry.
Fish curry.
Matzabu.
Fish curry.
Oh gosh.
You gotta love Matzabu. He's just a delightful nugget of a troll.
Absolutely. He's hilarious.
Oh my god. You should give him 5 minutes next time you go to the joke factory.
You know, like
He'll do it.
There are people like you talk to or you look at or you see them talk, and like there's sometimes you feel like there's a shield or mask that they're putting up. Like with Guan Eng you see that, with Lim Kit Siang you see that, with Anwar you see that, even with Khairi you see that.
Yes.
But for some reason Mat Sabu, you don't.
Yeah, you
Mat
don't.
Sabu is just like what you see is what you get.
Yeah,
Correct.
yeah, no.
It's
Exactly
amazing, yeah.
There are a number of politicians that are like very few that are actually really, you can like chill. Hey bro, how you doing?
Yeah.
Mat Sabu is clearly one of them. And I think Anwar, what he does well is, most compared to any other sort of PM candidate or party leader we've had, Anwar is the most down to earth. Like,
Yeah.
he comes out of his house, gives you KFC. All these other fellas, they'll have like 100 bodyguards all around them.
Yeah.
Correct. So Anwar does that very down to earth thing, which people really appreciate.
And it says a lot lah when you're a person who is in a position of power or going after power, and you're willing to just go out about in the street without any protection or whatever.
You can't have airs if you're from Seberang.
Yeah.
Come on now.
It's like in the UK where like at some point, like I remember like one of the prime ministers back then or something, like they took a train, or they would take buses and all that. I was like, yeah, that's actually something that they should do.
You can lie if your system is good.
Yeah,
Like Anthony
exactly.
Locke lah,
And if people
like
don't
Anthony
like you,
Locke.
Yeah.
if people don't like you, they can say it to your
To your face, correct.
Yeah. But that's Britain where, roasting people to their face is pretty much the national pastime.
Correct.
Right.
The second language.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Here you can't
Tosser.
you can't even hint at the plight of your people without some little Napoleon shithead threatening your life, like what happened to Mat Sabah.
Yeah.
Correct.
So we tiptoe like crazy
Yeah.
around here. So whenever a politician gives us just a little bit of like human decency, it's like, I'm going to join your OnlyFans or some shit. I don't know.
Mat Sabu is an OnlyFans?
I mean, if he did, would you not buy a subscription?
Yeah, I would. I'd get like the premium gold package.
Yeah,
immediately.
yeah. Just
Step aside, Miss Puyi.
hot
She
curry
quit,
fish.
by the way.
I know she did. Good
Yeah,
for
she's gonna
her.
become a DJ.
I don't
Correct.
care about Miss. I just want some hot curry fish action. Some hot fish head curry action.
With Miss Puyi? With Miss Puyi?
No, she's just a bonus.
Just
I'm just there for Mat Sabu and his head.
Hey,
Fish head
Right, all right.
curry.
You heard it here first.
Wow.
Raqib and Mat Sabu giving head.
Fish head.
Priorities, my friend. Priorities.
Penangites, we know what's good. We know what's good.
Yeah. Oh my.
Hey, enough lah with these Penang guys thinking they know everything. They think they're the best damn thing in the world. No, I'm sick and tired of it. I've met so many you are
Yes.
you are excluded, but I know so many Penang guys that will go, hey, come, let's go eat this chicken rice place. You bring them there, and then they're like, oh, this is nice, but Penang nicer. Or you bring them to Char Kway Teow shop. Oh, this is nice, but Penang nice. Or you even
Ipoh fellas also.
yeah, then why? Then fucking you are working in KL, because it sucks where you came from,
Yeah.
and then you complain about everything. Fucking balik lah,
What?
balik Penang ah.
Are you calling?
Sick and tired of you people complaining about everything else everywhere you go.
Did you just call all outstation people pendatangs?
No, I didn't.
Why are they from like Batu Batajam or something? What like
Batu Matajam, huh? You just
Bukit Matajam.
redelineating shit.
Yeah,
Batu
no, I'm
Matajam.
gerrymandering my own state.
I don't know. I
care.
just know a lot of.
They didn't take care of the hill. That's why they tore it down, making the stone.
Soon it's gonna be Penang
we don't-
Mound.
Yeah,
Penang Mound.
yeah, Penang Ant Hill.
Penang Anthill.
Yeah.
The what do they call it? The funicular.
Funicular,
The
yeah.
funicular. Yeah.
It sounds like a sex
It's
move.
gonna be a matcha on the EX5 pulling like a car. Oh my
You know-
over here.
You know what I don't like about the funicular train now? Yeah, so this
Wait,
is refresh-
what the hell is the funicular train?
It's the train that's saying it
Penang
lah, so
Hill.
that when it goes uphill, you're upright.
Oh, that one. Oh, okay,
correct,
okay.
Yes.
So
It's a
funicular.
Funicular.
Funicular sounds like a sex move.
Why? What does the word funicular? What the
Okay,
hell?
next joke. Now, so useful. No,
Funicular is a type of cable railway system that connects points along a railway track laid on a steep slope.
yeah. So
Okay.
if it's on level ground, everything's slanted
Yeah.
to one side. But if it's on slanted ground, then you're straight lah. You know. You're pansexual. You're pansexual train. You're either straight or saying it depending on the terrain.
Non-binary train.
I mean, yeah, multiple points.
Yeah.
Sorry, I just need to say that I just got a text from Kavin J. So yesterday, the day before, I was in Singapore with Kavin J,
Yes.
attending an awards ceremony.
My commiserations.
Yeah, it was interesting. And we came back last night, and he just texted me, "Is your anus exploding? Mine is." So next joke.
Singapore.
Yeah, what?
Singapore, the place where you pay extra for flavor
Correct.
is making your ass explode.
He says he's got the Hershey squirts.
Weak.
The Delhi belly,
Weak.
the Kuala Lumpur.
Yo. No, that only if I eat a kana curry house, and that's just what you want, right?
Yes,
He's got the vernacular shits lah.
Yes, correct.
Points.
Can only shit at a 45-degree angle.
Well, I mean, if you're sideways.
Okay, but back to your point about
The what now?
the train and where were we? We were on train.
The thing I don't like about the funicular trains now, and this will be refreshing to Lance because it's a Penang complaining about Penang for once,
Yes, thank you.
is that it's air conditioned.
Uh-huh.
And I don't like that because you're now colder in the train than when you step out at the peak.
That's true.
So now it's like, what is the point? I might as well stay at the goddamn train. You put me in nice climate-controlled environment, and then you leave me in a place that you already ruined with development. Why? For what? Take me down. I'll go find Char Kway Teow. Fuck you.
Penang has great food, don't get me wrong. I love going to Penang because the food is amazing.
Yes.
But it's not the only place in Malaysia with good
No,
food.
definitely not.
It's absolutely not.
For me, the place outside of Penang I really like to go to have food is Taiping.
Oh man, Taiping.
Taiping doesn't get enough love.
I'm from Johor.
Oh, you're from Johor?
Oh
Yeah,
shit, I'm
and-
so sorry.
It's okay. It's okay.
Do you need a hug?
I need brain cells.
But yeah, for some reason, the moment you leave Johor, the Johor border,
Life just gets better, right?
no, you cannot find good Mee Rebus anymore.
That's true.
Oh, yeah, okay.
I don't know why. Like, and legit. One time I asked this. I was in a cab on the way to KLIA,
Yeah.
right? And then I think the cab driver was Johorian or something lah.
Yeah.
So this came up. I asked him, "Hey, you know any like good Mee Rebus? Because after I left Johor, cannot find." No.
Yeah.
And then unprompted, he went on this rant about how the sultans of individual states have a certain power,
Yes.
and there's like some kind of magical power in their keris because the keris is connected to the soil.
Is that
and
where
stuff.
the flavor for the Mee Rebus comes from?
No. So apparently his thing is that, there's this thing where like they put the keris in the ground and it protects the land and those things and all that. And he's like, that is why lah. That is why Mee Rebus, the moment you go out of Johor, you can't find good Mee Rebus. And like,
Because the Sultan of Johor's
I don't
charis
know.
power is just declining
I
once
don't-
I don't know. I couldn't. I was like, okay.
Well, explain Penang, Melaka, parts of Taiping. There's a Chris there also, is it?
No, but this is why lah. I don't know, man, but I don't have evidence to tell him that there is good Mee Rebus outside of Johor.
Also, you needed to get to the airport, right? You couldn't piss this guy off.
Yeah.
For the longest time, it was actually the original Uncle Don's at Hartamas.
Okay.
That is, and I could trust it that it was at least possible because my mom and my aunts were raised in Johor.
Yeah.
So for Raya, Mee Rebus was a standard.
Yeah.
Mee Rebus and Laksa Johor, which your spaghetti laksa weirds me out. Like, I don't know.
I don't understand that as well.
Yeah, no. I asked my dad what all that was about, and he says, you have to understand that every state in Semenanjung is influenced by a specific culture, right?
And Johor is influenced by Singapore.
There's a reason they call it Singapore North. Right?
I was gonna say the Turkish lah, but
Yeah.
can also.
Hey.
So a Johorian went to Singapore to work, discovered pasta,
Yeah.
and then decided to put it in laksa.
My dad's argument is that the Johorians, were influenced by the Turkish who came there, and it's the Turkish because some of them still have the DNA in them.
Yeah, correct.
People
Wait,
that
the Turkish
knows.
have spaghetti.
They have durum wheat, which they use to make pasta out of.
Okay.
So they do have pasta in their culture. So they're like, we don't do this rice shit. We're Turkish now, so we're just gonna, we're gonna Ertugrul our laksa up.
So is that like Turkish marinara or Turkish aglio olio? I don't know. I'm legit asking.
Weirdly enough, it's in desserts like baklava and whatnot. So
Okay.
They put pasta. What?
it's a noodle which you then use in a dessert.
Is it like what's that thing called? The kanafe?
Kanafe, yeah, that's another
That
one.
looks like noodles. It looks like the yin yang.
They are
fried
noodles.
yin yang.
They are noodles
Yeah.
basically, but it's Levantine, right? It's not just Lebanon. It's just like the entire Middle Eastern,
Yeah, okay.
Section.
All the hot countries.
all the hot countries. Except you get to Turkey and then you suddenly realize, well, your nipples are hard. It's not as hot. It's
And
not
it's not
hot
because of the
anymore.
climate. Oh.
It's not hot anymore.
It's a different kind of hot.
I was the only hot thing in Turkey is the food and maybe the women. But yang tu pun you flip a coin. But yeah, no, it's that. That's why the pasta is used as is in Laksa Johor.
Yeah. But the curry thing though.
The Charis thing.
Okay, do you
need
know?
to write a Matcha Man podcast episode on this charis thing?
On this Charis
Yes,
thing.
correct.
Okay, but is any of this tied
I have
in?
never heard of putting a Chris in the ground to bless the earth. Never.
Okay.
Because that's how it gets rusty.
Right?
Correct.
If you go to other places that have Chris, they jaga that shit like you wouldn't believe.
Because it's pusaka.
It's pusaka. It's a heritage. Like you go to like, Bali or Jogja, they wrap it out in yellow cloth. It's cleaned out.
It's a very
day,
coveted
it's
thing.
oil.
Yeah.
They literally use like cyanide and arsenic to clean the gold inlay, and you slowly die from this if you're not careful.
And I'm like, for the whole time I thought like, wow, that cab driver shared with me this like
That's okay.
Malay cultural factoid that maybe okay, it might sound a little bit out there, but maybe there's a hint of maybe there's a hint of it like there's a little belief that we have about this. But
Mee Rebus, it's
I had a really good Mee Rebus in Ipoh once.
Johor better lah.
I know, but
You
Johor,
just hate it.
but Johor's far. And then once you're in Johor, It's horrible.
But you got Mee Rebus, it's fine, bro.
Ipoh also got.
I think the issue with Johor isn't whether it's good or bad to be in. It's just that there's not enough good for the amount of space there is.
That is true. Correct.
Dude, like legit. When they started building condos in Johor, I looked at it. And
you're short on space, huh?
Yeah, I'm like, why? Who is coming to Johor and going like, it'd be nice? A condo. But look at all the land we have.
Somewhere.
Beautiful land, mountainous regions, big fields.
Yeah.
And like, I'm gonna stay on the 17th floor of service residence.
Yeah.
Yeah.
While all the other residences around me are all landed houses.
Correct.
Yeah.
So you're just looking down. Let me down.
Yeah. And I think it's a
Come
legit
down.
thing though. I think it's a very legit thing that Johorians, by DNA, do not know how to live in condos.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't think anybody does. We were just compelled to live in them because we had no choice.
But in Johor, it was never even a choice. Like it was never even on the table, And then
what
suddenly it
for,
just
right?
showed up.
Yeah, correct.
So I'm just imagining people who bought the condos are being like, oh, I heard they, in KL and our countries, they live in condos and all. Singapore seems to be doing well with them. Let me get one in Johor and see how it goes.
Yeah.
And then they go in and then like, wait, the rubbish, you have to take the rubbish out of your house. And walk like the distance to put it in a secluded room.
Where in Johor were you from?
Skudai.
Oh, Skudai. Okay, like JB townish.
The official council is MBJBT, so it's MPJBT. So
Don't let
it's
it smell.
Johor Bahru Tengah.
Johor Batu Tengah. Okay.
Ismail Sabri Yaakob cannot pronounce that. MPJB, PJB, PJJJ.
Oh man, that throws me back. Man. The good old days of MCOs and no traffic.
Yeah.
With that, so I'm not that. I was about like 20-30 minutes away from the city center.
Okay. All right.
But food wise, it was always a good mix. I always enjoyed like food in Johor. Like even with Chinese food, right? We have this. We call it like kway teow teng, which is like
Kway teow soup.
kway teow soup, but it's very very pork heavy. So it's like
Yes.
you get like the intestines and all that little bowls like that. You can barely find here, and when you do,
Yeah. It's
But Mee Rebus is the one
it's a very
sticks to me,
interesting. Yeah, literally, it's quite a gooey dish.
So good.
It's one of those interesting examples because it's the same Chinese people in Penang and Melaka as you'd find in Johor.
Yeah.
Hokkien people, right? And the dish is like we only got one chance to impress you, so we're just gonna make sure that after you eat, you die.
Correct.
Yeah,
That's the best way to
That's
die.
how Bak Kut Teh came about.
exactly.
Yeah. Let's just take a pig and boil it for 6 weeks. Add some herbs to tell you it's
That is-
healthy.
I don't know if that's even a joke. That sounds perfectly accurate.
Add some black soy caramel sauce.
Correct, yeah,
Just for
that's-
color.
Serve it up to you. It's good for your health. It's great. It makes you heaty during the hot season. It's Malaysia. It's all the hot season. You're in Johor.
Here, have some herbal tea to cool it down.
Herbal tea to cool it down.
Give you
The
some
tea is
yao,
hot.
give you some yao cha kwai for the crunch.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, good times. Good
Oh my
times.
god.
What good times? Why? What do you know about Bak Kut Teh?
I've never had bak kut teh before, but from a general concept, this makes a lot of sense to me.
It is. It's like soup kambing and all the soups. You just
Yeah.
boil something forever.
Yeah.
Add a bit of herbs and spices, and you're good to go.
Like because Penang boy, right? Soup kambing is a thing, right? Soup mama is a thing, And when you finally get it, at least in the old days, when you finally get it, you look at it and you're like, this is a kurma.
Yeah, it's so thick. Yeah, correct. Like soup hamid.
Yes.
Soup hamid.
Soup hamid is like you put the spoon in and then it just stands. And then you're like, ni soup ke kuah tak berapa
Is this a liquid or a solid or a gas?
It started out as a solid, then you boil it down to a liquid, and then it gives you gas.
Yeah. It's kind of like a thing. Is it with I forgot what material it was, but there's this material where like if you gently poke it, it's a liquid. But if you slap it, then
I
Oobleck.
read about that. Huh? Oobleck?
That's the name of it. It's cornstarch slurry. It's called oobleck.
Oobleck. Okay.
Yes.
So you can like just smack it really hard and then it.
Yeah.
Yeah, then it becomes a solid.
It's like a good partner in bed.
What do you know? I don't care about Miss Puyi. I rather have fish and curry, Mister.
Hey man, I come to KL. There's a lot of cornstarch slurry in the food.
Oh, that's
true. I spend my entire life eating a bunch of Hokkien style food, and I come here and everything is lightly flavored and very gooey.
See, typical out of towner come to KL complain about the food.
I'm not complaining. I'm just making an observation.
You're
I actually like lightly flavored and slightly gooey.
Because in Penang the food is very cow.
Yeah.
Everywhere you go it's very cow. There's no very like kway teow teng is not very popular there.
I think.
Is it? I don't know.
Got one stall that very popular, but
and just plain kway teow soup. But other than that, everything is cow. There's chili. There's
I think it's part of the Hokkien palate.
Yeah.
I think like we like food like just strong, like taste strong.
Yeah, I want food that fights back.
Yeah.
just like your language. Right?
There you go. It doesn't even matter what language. If you're from the Straits settlements, all the languages sound like quarrels.
Yes, correct.
The Penang dialect, or even if you're in Malacca, right? Malay Malaccan people, when they talk, scare me.
They're so angry. Hey, lahanat! They hate each other so much.
I had the stage manager when I was in theater, and she was a tiny lady, right? She's like 5'0", right? Small, a dancer by profession, right? Also a Malay lady from Malacca, which should have been the first red flag.
Yeah.
Which is part of the Malacca flag.
Wow. God.
Am I wrong? No. And when she is yelling at you because you forgot the lines, or when you forgot she is like some next level sort of picking a fight with the whole world.
Yeah.
It is she is like Babi tak guna, tak hafal line. Aku bagi kau ni macam tak ada.
Good morning, love you.
I love you too. Fuck you. I'm like, geez, I thought we were rough. God damn.
Actually, like all the street settlement.
Put Xanax in the water supply. Fuck.
They all have very, very.
Because it's
Xanax in the water supply is why Ipoh people drive like that.
But but
they don't give a shit.
Yeah, no.
They're so chill.
You know why? Because Straits settlement near the ocean, right? If you take a wrong turn,
You're in the ocean.
You're in the ocean.
Yeah, correct. Yes.
Kautim, it's fine.
Correct.
and you gotta remember, like with the Straits settlements, it's such a mix, such a big mix of different cultures.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah.
So like if you say something, and the other boat or the other people don't understand,
Yeah.
You have to shout.
you're screwed. Yeah.
You have to shout.
At least if you shout, they can hear your intent.
Yeah.
They can hear your emotions.
For the entire time I was in the Star, right? Okay. I'm Penang boy, heard Hokkien my entire life. Never learned how to speak it, but I can garner from like context what's being said. And then I go to KL to get a job, and I think to myself, okay, I guess I'm not gonna hear Hokkien anymore, so I'm not gonna be able to understand anything. 8 months in the Star, not a word of Cantonese.
Really? Yeah.
Not a word
Because
of Cantonese.
like a lot of the people, you told me this, right? A lot of the people in the Star are from like Penang or they're not KLites.
Penang, Johor, Sabah.
Because the only places that actually still speak Cantonese is KL, Ipoh, and Sandakan. These are the main Cantonese towns where the Cantonese went and
Hokkien takeover. Let's go, bro. Let's go. I'm sick of listening Cantonese in KL.
It's the
Speak a proper Hokkien.
It's going into in Penang, it's going extinct, which makes me a bit sad. The Penang Hokkien is going extinct.
No lah, but not as bad. Like in Malacca and Johor, everyone speaks Mandarin.
Oh, really?
Everybody speaks Mandarin. In Penang, if you speak Mandarin, they know you're an outsider. Right?
Yeah.
Everyone is crazy.
By my benchmark when ordering food in Penang from Chinese stalls, if the seller speaks to me in Cantonese, I walk away. You are disqualified.
In Penang, that's acceptable.
Yeah.
In Penang, that's acceptable.
Because clearly you did not make it in KL. Clearly you failed in Ipoh.
Yeah.
So now here you are trying your
Here
luck.
you are trying your luck.
Just go to Taiping where you don't matter.
Yeah.
That's
You
that
have
is
zero
true.
shot in Thailand.
That is true because I'm so used to hearing Hokkien my entire life. The second I hear Cantonese, did somebody leave the Hong Kong channel on? What the hell is going on? Like, it's so confusing. When I finally heard Cantonese in the start, I'm like, who the hell is in this? Oh, it's you. I forget you're Chinese.
Yeah. Like my mom, my mom is Hokkien as well, right?
Yes.
And the interesting thing is that when I brought her up here to stay with me for a while, because sometimes we go head down to Klang, right? And where I stay, there's a lot of businesses and business operators that come from Klang as well.
Yes.
And a lot of them are from Pulau Ketam. And apparently the Pulau Ketam Hokkien sounds very close, or is exactly the same as my mom's hometown's Hokkien.
Okay.
And all fishing villages. So it's the fishing.
Where's your mom's hometown?
Kokop in Johor.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, so it's one of those like all the houses are built on stilts.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Like back then it was still like, you know, the pathway going in was still all wooden planks, but now it's all concrete and all this kind of stuff, which is really weird. And then you get like these like, because it's a vacation spot as well, right? People rent like 50-room chalets, 20-room chalets there.
Yeah.
Right.
So you have like these mansion-sized buildings on stilts.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, but now I mean like now it's
kinda
concrete.
cool, actually.
Yeah,
It's
it's kind of
a
cool.
bit
Yeah.
You know,
People like one thing last time, right, was that Singaporeans would always like to book the chalets there so that they can play things like fireworks.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense. That
you gotta love the Singaporean that comes to Johor
Just to
break
commit
the law.
crime.
Just to commit. I was telling this to my friend. I was like, Singaporeans just come to Johor to unfetter their inner chowkia. That's all they do.
Yeah.
correct?
It's
Correct.
It's because they have to be so civil, right? The second you cross the causeway, it's like
Just forget how to drive.
I'm going to speed in the Skyline that I bought on the grey market.
It's like at Johor Customs, right?
Yeah.
You flash a Singapore passport, they just give you a line of cocaine.
Let's
Cocaine or ayahuasca? What do you want?
But adat mesti ada. It's on a cereal leaf. You roll the cereal leaf into a straw, and then you chew the cereal leaf. It's a great time.
You get a brochure about Iskandar Development Corp.
Yes.
Would you like a condo in Johor?
My brother works in Iskandar actually. Then he
Oh,
just
no.
commutes from Johor to KL on the weekends.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's a drive, man.
That is a
Iskandar's like a
drive.
5-hour drive.
No lah, he works for Iskandar Studio, so he just flies. You know.
That's nice.
Anytime he blanjas me dinner or whatnot, I say thank you, but at the back of my head it was like, because you can afford it.
But the thing with driving down to Johor versus driving up to Penang,
Yes.
driving up to Penang, you feel the drive. Because like the road is windy, you pass by Ipoh,
It's very
you see the
scenic.
hills,
It's very
scenic.
scenic.
You know, there's a lot to see, and you know,
Johor is just palm oil.
yeah, you drive down to Johor. It's not you don't even see palm oil trees at first. I think it's like rubber trees.
Rubber, probably, like old rubber trees.
Yeah,
from
because it's
that
like the
one.
old. It's not palm oil. It's definitely not palm oil trees right up front. It's like all these like skinny trees and like big leaves and all.
it's
So I think
old
it's
rubber that got
Oh, those by the side of the highway, those are teak.
teak.
Yeah, because when they
Teak.
built the North-South Highway, they took the land for the lanes itself, and they also took, I think, 20 or 30 feet on each side. And Plus was like, what do we want to plant here? What was cheap? They just plant. So a lot of the trees you see on the highway, those big, huge leaves, right?
Yeah.
That's teak.
That's teak.
Yeah, and then the bark is not like a rough bark. It looks quite smooth.
Yeah, it's quite
that's
pale,
teak.
yeah.
Correct. Yeah,
Ah,
that's teak. Yeah.
authentic. That's actually a shop in Penang called Authentic.
Yeah, it is. It's a
Yeah, it
furniture
is, yeah.
shop, isn't it?
Furniture
Yeah, it's a furniture shop.
They have it here also. Okay.
They have it here, but in
Okay.
Penang is better, is
Yeah,
it?
yeah, that's why. Dude.
They're not very good. It's pathetic.
Wow.
Losing sponsors by the minute.
Oh my gosh.
No, it's it's very interesting to like hear from other people from other states, and how there's this weird similarity. So again in the Star, my boss, knowing that I was from Penang, didn't care that I didn't actually speak Hokkien. He just assumed I did. So he would just give me orders in Hokkien, and I would just nod. And somehow I'd get the orders right, which didn't help matters.
Because then he thinks you understand Hokkien.
Yeah. And he would just go around and say, hey, he speaks Hokkien. He speaks Hokkien. Like,
It's the inner char kway teow lah.
Yes. Just years and years of being in scout groups in Penang.
Yeah. The one thing I don't understand when it comes to like Hokkien food from Malaysia to Singapore is Hokkien Mee. Because I don't know what happened.
Yeah.
Because I was born and raised in Singapore for early years of my life.
Yeah.
The Hokkien Mee I saw was colorful.
Yeah.
Right? Yellow noodles with mee hoon and then
Correct.
seafood, and it's
Yeah.
beautiful. Come to Johor, you still can find it.
Yes.
It's still that. Came up to KL, my friends like, you gotta try the Hokkien Mee in KL, bro. I got it and I was like, what? Who just dumped like all the ink on these noodles? Like, where
It's
is
just
everything?
dark.
Yeah. And then fine. And then you go up to Penang,
And it's a soup.
it's a soup. I was like, isn't this prawn noodles?
Correct.
No, it's Hokkien Mee. What?
It's like in Singapore, they don't have Singapore mee hoon, right? Like their Hokkien
Yeah.
mee is like our Singapore mee hoon, right?
Yeah.
I
No.
think so. Is it
no.
different? I don't know.
You're talking about Sing Zhao.
Sing Tao Mai, yeah.
No, Sing Zhao Mai is like tomato fried mee hoon.
Okay.
Shrimp and all that.
I've never had Singapore mee hoon. I've never had Hokkien mee in Singapore.
Hokkien Mee in Singapore, it's a vibe like. Just show it. Oh my god.
It's white, right?
It's quite colorful.
Yeah, it's with the seafood and the vegetables and everything. It looks like the Italian flag just a little bit.
There you go.
I like that you already have the search term.
Oh, this one.
Yeah, this one.
Isn't this just like fried noodles?
It's got a bit of gravy to it usually. Yeah.
It's like
So it's not dry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm familiar with this, but for very different reasons. So this is a Hokkien dish, right? But you don't see it in Penang anymore.
Oh, it actually existed in Penang.
It still does, but it goes by a different name that I don't know.
Must have been a Singaporean uncle
Yeah.
that failed in Singapore. Moved up to Johor, failed again. And
Yeah.
kept going. He's probably in Vietnam by now.
Speaks Teochew for some reason. We don't know why. Okay, so one of the vestiges of this dish exists in a kind of mee mamak that you only find in Penang.
Oh yeah.
So if you type in mee manja CRC, it is like Hokkien mee, but Indian. You're typing in what Kevin looks at.
there you go, first one.
CRC.
Yeah.
It's not the Central Communist Party.
So you look at that. That's supposed to be a mee mamak, but it's white.
Oh.
Does that look familiar to you?
That's a Mee Rebus.
Yeah, it looks like Mee Rebus.
So what happened, according to my dad, what happened was that this is an Indian Muslim adaptation of that kind of Hokkien mee.
Oh.
So
I
it's
thought he was
couldn't
gonna
make
go
it
like
in
Hokkien people actually Indian.
They do because it's in a Chinese coffee shop. So they eat this and they like it because it's mild. It doesn't have all of the curry base
Yeah.
and all of the rojak kuah base on.
It's a salad, lah, basically.
It's a soupy salad.
Yeah.
And it's very interesting to note that this started out as the Hokkien mee you're familiar with.
Oh.
So that kind of Hokkien mee does exist, but it goes by a different name, and you have to find like really tiny coffee shops in like Komta's slum area or
Yeah.
whatnot.
Slum areas.
Yeah, no. The places that are now just overrun by like Myanmar eateries.
Oh wow.
Yeah. And all of their funky smells, just lots of fermentation.
So basically, the Penang Hokkien Mee sellers all sold out, lah.
Everybody does, bro. Everybody does. You just retire and you go to here last, and
Yeah, because like everyone could agree that prawn noodles was prawn noodles
Yes.
until Penang.
Right. Hamin.
Yeah.
Or mee.
Or hae mee or whatever.
Mee yolk,
Yeah. Then got to Penang, no Hokkien Mee.
Correct.
Because I think we called the black Hokkien mee Hokkien cha, right? Because it's dry, ish.
Yeah. Because we were lazy to say Hokkien Mee Hoon.
Yeah.
We were lazy to say Hokkien Kway Teow, Hokkien Imi.
It's
not just Hokkien Cha.
It's supposed to be Hokkien prawn mee. Like they just take the prawn out because lazy. Then Hokkien Cha is the thing that but then Bihun Cha is just Hokkien mee with bihun instead, right? So it's this the dishes are the same. They just use different words so that no one understands, I guess. Because if I want to find prawn mee here, I can. I don't know if it's any good, but I can. And if I want to find the same things in Johor, you just know what the name is, I guess.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
I used to have Hokkien prawn mee in my school canteen. It was so good.
I am just low-key hanging on to a small glimmer of hope.
Yeah.
That there is actually good Mee Rebus in Selangor. Just that it's not named Mee Rebus.
Sure, that's probably a thing.
Mee masuk air ke?
Mee
Correct, yeah. Mee steam.
Mee steam pedas kental. Something like that. It's got flames on its billboard or some shit.
Oh gosh. It's interesting. Yeah.
Mi kwahubi maayu. Tetet londe baju telabuk atas bubong. Or some very elaborate name like that. That's Nat Kang's joke. It's like it's a name that is basically the intro paragraph to an epic.
Oh my god.
Like Tun Sri Lanang named this stall.
Before you hear the name of this dish, let me tell you the story.
Yes.
The name of this dish is longer than the story.
Yeah. You do have things like nasi lemak dara.
Yeah.
Because apparently the cook still has a hymen or some shit.
Yeah.
Or
That's some fresh seafood.
that is very fresh seafood.
Ooh,
yeah.
lala, I tell you.
Hardly any fish taste. And
Kamyong lala.
Kamyong.
Oh.
If there isn't a TikTok influencer called Kamyong Lala, I will never. I'm not downloading the app. There's gotta be at least one Chinese girl with shorts that are way too short whose name is Kamyong Lala. I just know.
I can guarantee you that there's a bunch out there that are called Lala.
That's for
Yes.
sure.
Yeah.
That's for sure, correct.
But the Kamyong part.
The Kamyong part,
Yeah, food blogger.
I hope so.
Yeah, Kamyong lala.
It's only correct.
correct. Yeah.
It's only correct and fair, and true and just.
Lala is the name of the IC some more.
Yep.
Uh,
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
government name, yeah.
Yeah, it's the government name.
Yeah, yeah.
Kamhyong is the name she picked up in school because she smelled like Kamhyong chicken.
Her dad ran a store. She had leftover kamyong.
And then one day she spilled it on herself and then she ran around smelling.
kamyong.
Correct, yes.
Yeah, and then she's probably running a cosmetic empire up and all that.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
no,
So you
correct.
use Kamyong sauce and put it in your skin and then
Yeah.
yeah.
It's
It
got,
exfoliates.
it's the dried chili.
It's a dried chili.
The dried chili and the dried
Dried chili
shrimp.
and the garlic is a
Yeah, that's an antioxidant.
yeah, exactly.
There you go. It works. Try it.
Okay, but back to journalism.
I was gonna ask.
Oh, wow.
You know, this.
Right. That's why we're here.
Yeah, no, but this proves a point, right? Because this is why they keep bribing us with food.
Yeah.
It does, correct.
It is because
At the end of the day, that's all you want to talk about.
no, but it's
It's
true.
the only thing you'll remember.
Yeah, no, you have a whole bunch of like Hokkien people in the Star. Obviously, it's going to be bitching about how the food is crap here.
Yeah.
Or it's going to be a discussion on which bak kut teh stall to go, right? Or election time, Star. The former chief editor was Liango, Datuk Liango, and during election times, she would belanja the whole news desk. Nasi lemak.
Oh, nice.
What's that one famous nasi lemak with ayam goreng?
They all
Tanglin.
all the nasi lemak have
Village
ayam
Park.
goreng, bro.
Village Park. She would
Village Park.
belanja everybody Village Park.
That's like used to be like Patrick Teo's one, right?
Is it? No, I don't think so. I'm not sure. I didn't know that he owned. No, I don't think so.
The one in Damansara, right?
Yeah, uptown.
I feel like the reason why
Chinese people nasi lemak.
Yes,
Yeah, correct.
I feel like the
Comes with
reason
luncheon meat.
Which is amazing,
Yeah.
by the way.
Hey, dude, hash brown and
Oh, yes.
I
correct.
don't know if they ever, because the thing is, the place is halal ostensibly, right? And I don't know if this is true, but you alienate your customer base selling from uptown, right? Right? If it's not halal and everybody can eat it, right?
yeah.
I think Leanne got Village Park because Leanne is this tall, elegant woman, and the owner of Village Park is also a tall, elegant woman, and I think my people. She bought the nasi lemak.
Wow.
No, because I've seen.
If I eat your nasi lemak, I'm gonna look like you.
Yes. I need to. I've seen her before. She's like this very, very well put together middle-aged lady with the with the gelang and the shit. So a nyonya lady lah in a baju kurung. Very, like she's got that one emoji expression. You know, Hanayo. The Hanayo expression, just the 2 dots and the line.
Okay.
Yes, just rolling very, very austerely.
Yeah.
Packets and whatnot.
What's Hanayo's ministry again?
Youth and sports.
Sports. Okay, like you're not involved in any of it.
She's sport.
Be fine. You don't have to worry about backlash from the ministers.
Yeah, but I can't run, you see, so a bit susah lah.
Yeah.
She's gonna get a bunch of javelin throwers.
I legit love like how like we all know Hanayo to always be dressing like the baju kurung and all that.
Yes, yes.
Suddenly when you have a sports ministry, right?
Yeah.
Bruh, it's like the pants that don't go all the way down.
Yeah.
You know, just above the ankle, like
Yeah.
sporty look.
Yeah.
Got sneakers on. I'm like, yeah.
I am doing
Thanks.
a sports.
Yeah.
I'm doing a sports.
Yes.
Like suddenly gotta dress up like you. I'm just waiting for her to put on chains, man.
No.
She's flash like gang signs.
She's gonna get cornrows on the top and a
Yeah.
side shave with a thunderbolt. You know, I'm waiting for that lah.
Yeah.
What I really like about Hanayo is that apart from the fact that she's a fairly good politician, is the fact that you look at her and you're like, you forget that that's a middle-aged woman with 2 kids.
Oh yeah, that's true.
You realize, oh, look at this tiny Chinese girl.
She's
So
middle
cute.
aged, though, no right?
She's in her 30s.
30 is not middle aged, lah.
I think she's almost 40.
Yeah, but nowhere near 50, right? Definitely.
No, if she's 50, I commit suicide. I don't care.
Yeah.
Which they will never publish.
She's 43.
She's 43.
That's not middle aged, lah.
That's almost there.
Yeah.
Some Chinese ladies just don't age.
That is true.
They go from teenage years until 65, and then
suddenly
immediately just poofy hair and
Yeah. I'm still waiting for that to happen to me,
Jade
man,
Bangle.
because I stopped growing at like 13 or something.
you're gonna get poofy hair.
I don't know, man. One day.
Yeah.
He's already got the bangles.
Yeah, I got
He's
the
already
bangles.
You already got the
rest.
bangles. Now you gotta get the chukang hair and the boots.
Correct, yes. The mole would be an add-on.
The mole is, you gotta get that surgically implanted. Yeah.
When I get my first construction contract, then
Yeah,
the
yeah,
mole will
yeah.
just. Yeah. Contractor!
When you make your first million, an inch of hair.
Yeah.
And then another inch, then
Yeah.
another inch.
Yeah, not many hairs, just
Just one lone strand.
Yeah, and it turns into a dragon's beard over the while.
Okay, so back to journalism.
I'm beginning to understand why we never have actual topics before we start. There's no point.
Correct.
Well, okay, but legit, the previous administration. Okay, Najib's administration at the time, press freedom was still not that great. It was getting better though. It was getting better
Ish.
because there was just so much that that had to be said. But then the 2 years when PH came in, I think there was like a big.
That's when I think
sigh
it
of
was a
relief,
turning
yeah.
point because it was almost completely free then.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, there's still things you don't talk about. That's your self-censorship. You're not going to
Yeah.
write a story on certain topics.
Yeah.
But ever since PH took over till now, we do have a free press. You can say what you want, and as long as you are factual, then you won't get sued, basically. Right? But during Muhyiddin's time, and less so in Ismail Sabri, actually, during Muhyiddin's time, there was a lot of use of the, Fahmi Reza calls it the Akta Sakit Hati.
Oh,
which is the Communications and Multimedia Act, which is basically you say something that offended someone, and therefore the police are going to catch you.
That's the butthurt act, man.
Yeah, it is actually the butthurt
The
act.
butthurt act,
Yeah.
I don't know if there was that much enforcement of that though.
Yeah, that's the thing. There hasn't been enforcement. Which is like you say that a journalist or a comedian got investigated and got charged and all that, but did they actually go to jail at the end of the day?
No, it's like when somebody gets charged for sedition, your chances of persecution is very low.
But it's not. It like okay. At some point, it's not really about the actual persecution. It's the fact that it's there, and then it makes the news, and then other people get fearful.
Yes, correct,
right.
correct.
We're
That's the
gonna-
idea. It is intimidation. It is.
Let us talk about the crack house because this is currently relevant.
Rest in peace.
Okay.
Rest in peace. Actually, why are you laughing? It is very sad.
It is.
No, but
You know how many people Jason Leong had to block on Twitter?
you mean more than usual? I mean, he's got more blocked Twitter than he does have Twitter. Block Twitter is its own community at this point.
It is a Discord community.
Yeah.
There's people throwing darts at a poster. Of
It's
him.
on Telegram.
He should be selling like Twitter blocks as NFTs, man.
Yeah, no, he should be selling a shirt that says "I got blocked on Twitter by Jason." So, where the hell were we?
Journalism and Jason Leong.
It was
The crack house. The crack house.
The crack house. Rizal Van Giesel got charged for sedition at one point.
Not sedition.
Not
Penal code, I think.
penal code.
They said they're going to investigate him under sedition. But at the end of the day, they charged him, I think, under the Penal Code and Multimedia Act.
Now, that's the true power of these kinds of laws. It's a deterrent if they can remember or they have the initiative to even say you are being investigated under them.
Yeah.
Because at that point, it sends a message to everybody else that whatever it is that you're doing will not be tolerated.
Yeah.
And you don't have to even use it. You just have to threaten somebody with it.
Correct.
To stop them from doing whatever you want. Because the thought of, even if the standard of evidence is astronomically high, it's there to just inconvenience the crap out of you.
It's the fact that, you get arrested, spend a night in lockup.
Yeah.
Then you have to go back and forth being questioned.
Yes.
Like we were talking earlier, just automatic voter registration. The fact that you register for people automatically made people go out and
Correct.
vote.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right? And when it comes to like speech and all that kind of stuff, the moment you put up the moment there are any form of hurdles or any form of potential pushback, you just end up silencing so many people.
But the new communications minister, Fahmi Fazil, he said that you have free speech as long as you keep it within the laws, and that's a bit of an iffy thing to say.
Yeah,
because there are laws that say you can't say you can't say things that hurt people's feelings, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So I mean, it's too soon to say, but I really do hope that he will push for amendments or removals of these laws entirely and introduce instead hate speech laws.
Yeah.
That would be ideal.
Because right now, SOSMA is still on the books, and the Sedition Act is still on the books. And these laws are so open-ended and vague that you can just use them as a blunt force instrument as a threat.
Yeah.
Correct.
So him saying you can say whatever you want so long as it's within the law is a nothing burger statement, really.
But there's also this thing of like we all talk about like politicians and corporations and all that, but I think one sector of society that doesn't get brought into conversation and topic are like how do I put this, the dark side of things, like the triads, the gangs, because growing up, gangsterism and all that was still a very upfront thing.
Yeah, okay.
Right, you heard about it in schools. There were times you actually see things go down and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But now it's not in your face anymore.
No.
Now it's all
They'll just wear suits and go to
they
offices.
wear suits. They drive fancy cars.
Correct.
Now they're all running all kinds of businesses and all that.
Yes.
And I think it would be naive to think that they don't have any influence when it comes to the political sphere.
Oh, they do. Remember what's his face? Dato Sri Niki Liao, that guy. Right? As soon as he was arrested or people revealed his alleged crimes, there were photos of him with politicians.
Yeah.
And politicians from all sides of the thing.
Sure.
Yeah.
Because alleged gangster or not, these guys are businessmen. They just want to make money. And as a businessman, you always align yourself to the person that can help you do business easily, right?
Sure.
Yeah.
And now it's just more and more legitimized. Maybe they don't use violence as much, but they will use whatever they have.
I mean, at least it's not in our
face.
face, lah.
Correct.
It's not out in the open.
No.
Here in the charming suburb of Setia Alam, there is no gangsterism.
Yeah.
It's
Just bakute.
I mean, occasionally.
in roundabouts.
I mean, even in Penang, when they ask you for protection money, allegedly, it's just a guy in a suit coming up. You're asking to see if they can speak to the boss.
Correct.
And then the only way you can get out of it, I've been told, is you meet the Agong and you give him XO every Chinese New Year or something like that. So these old links still exist, but they've become weirdly corporate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's it's this, right? With gangsterism and all that, the end goal has always been money,
Of course.
influence, and money. That's it.
Right.
It's a business. Yeah.
Yep.
And now that there are ways to do it, a bit more incognito-ish.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, they definitely need to go that route and try to find ways to legitimize themselves and all that. But then you have, it's still a sphere of influence, right? When it comes to politics and all this kind of stuff.
yeah.
So I do sometimes wonder, if all these politicians are they under the influence? Do they,
Yeah.
will they get affected? Because again, if you're trying to push for amendments or laws and last time you do direct tender and now it's open tender and all this kind of stuff, you're going to provoke people, man.
Yeah.
You are
correct,
going to
correct,
provoke people because these people used to have a steady stream of money that they can reliably bring in.
Exactly.
And now suddenly they have to fight extra hard for it.
Correct.
It's going to ruffle some feathers lah.
But that's not really saying anything with regards to what used to be organized crime. That's just true of businesses in general, right? The only difference is that the blunt force instrument a legitimate corporation or a mega corporation has is they'll just give money to the other side, or they'll have or they'll buy a newspaper like they do in the States. Who owns the New York Times now?
The New York Times is run by a family. I'm not sure who, but it's family run.
Was it the Wall Street Journal?
Jeff Bezos.
Jeff
owns Wall
Bezos,
Street,
right.
Yep.
So that's just, if you don't, that your blunt force instrument becomes the very kind of influence that you used to need violence for.
Yeah.
Right. And it's and it goes back to journalism in the sense that now you're a pawn in this game between large corporations and governments. And it's not really unique to organized crime because the same laws that you would use to control organized syndicates that have gone semi-legit will also smack down a corporation that is fully legit.
Correct.
If you see, I don't know if you think about what Nestle has been accused of, that is some Bond level shit, right? Stealing water from people, selling it back to other people, turning a blind eye to indentured servitude and slave labor and whatnot. This is some terrible stuff that's going on. No organized criminal syndicate can ever dream of this level of exploitation, right?
Pablo Escobar reading the Financial Times, fuck, should have gone to jail.
You joke, but it's true because he made money, but he had no place to store it.
Yeah, you got children making shoes? You can do that?
Little Nino can make shoes? He can make Nikes? God. Wow, what is this cocaine bullshit? I should have made Air Jordans. Wow. Escore presto sneakers.
But
it's just
okay, but you're out of the journalism sphere already.
The mental health hasn't quite improved. But it's at least I don't have to walk into the office, imagining my bosses hating me for something I did a week ago, and then just hating myself for not being good enough, and then being afraid that I'll screw up again, But that sticks with you for a while.
Yeah, and I mean, to some extent, I guess that job wasn't really for you. It's not conducive to how you are as a person.
You know why I got that job? Because number one, it had a rotating roster. And you could choose what your day off is so long as you were around on the weekends to work because, people had to work on the weekends.
Yeah.
And also because of that, it gave me a reason to be in KL so I could do comedy at the Crack House.
Rest in peace.
Rest in peace.
Yeah.
That's kind of the reason why I joined the Stars. And it was a skill set that I was familiar with. It took me a year and a half to get good at laying out pages and whatnot. Because There is no tutorial. There's no
there's
seminar.
stuff you pick up on the job, for sure.
Yeah.
But then, what about like for you? You're like still, I would say relatively
I'm very
fresh.
new. I'm fresh. I'm a baby. Yeah.
What made you want to get into it to begin with? We know you from like the stand up.
Correct. Yeah.
Yes.
No, but I've always been doing social media. That's my
Yeah.
thing. I used to do it for the Crack House. Then I did it for the Merry Lion, also another comedy club. Rest in peace.
Yeah. And then you're like,
All the comedy clubs I've worked for are now shut. Oh my
Yeah.
god.
and you're like, oh, a news portal. That's kind of like a comedy club.
Yeah.
Is that what you?
No, I just wanted a job as a social media person, and I heard about an opportunity, and I heard that I was told that the company is a new company and they're very dynamic. So I just applied and I got it. And I didn't go into news knowing I was going into news. I went into news as a social media person.
Yeah.
And then there was a protest or something that happened. And I told my editor, like, hey, I'm going to go for this. If anything happens, I'll write the story. La. So I went and I took some photos and I wrote the story. And I was like, hey, it's fun. And ever since then, it's just been my... my company is really good in the sense that although I'm not a reporter per se, they let me do the reporting things, right? They let me go and cover events, press conferences, interview people and all that. So I just ended up in news accidentally. I don't think anybody actually wants to be in news.
Nobody actually wants to be in
Yeah.
news.
No,
That's so sad to hear.
It's such a demanding, thankless job,
Yeah.
right? You only do it out of passion, or sometimes people do it out of propaganda because they want to serve a narrative.
Yeah, personally, I've never heard of like journalists getting paid like crazy salaries.
No, they don't. They don't.
They don't, right?
They
For the
don't.
kind of backbreaking work you guys do.
Yes,
That-
correct. That's
that-
why we get KFC with drumstick and time.
No, that's why they bribe us with food because they know it's expensive.
Correct. Yeah.
If you go to like any junket, anything, any function, any press release, the buffet is amazing, and the first people in the line for the buffet are the journalists.
I'll tell you this on polling day, right? At about night 6-7 o'clock, as the results started coming in, all the reporters were sent to different places. So I was sent to the UMNO HQ, where Barisan Nasional was going to do their accounting thing. Then there was the Pakatan Harapan HQ, or the war room, they call it. Then there was the same thing for Perikatan Nasional.
Yes.
And historically, BN being the most powerful party always has the best shit, right? Yeah. Like there's a buffet with like bottomless ayam masak merah, bottomless coffee, and all those kind of things.
Yes.
And then DAP PKR opposition, like you just be lucky to like get Wi-Fi.
Yes.
And when I went to UMNO, there was nothing. There was no big screen. There was no room for the reporters. And I went with a guy who's my senior by maybe almost 10 years. And he was saying this is weird because even if they don't have a lot of money, they're going to at least give the reporters a room so they can park themselves and do their stories.
Yes.
But UMNO didn't have view in the hall of WTC. Like 2 days before that, there was a freaking wedding expo.
So at Perikatan side, they were getting caviar and all that.
No, they were getting like, I got a photo my friend sent me. They got like a lamb chop. And like, yeah. And then DAP
Holy.
also had some pretty solid food. I think they were in a hotel in Subang, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, a PH, sorry. So all,
This should be in the updates, lah.
Yes.
This should be in the election updates.
they were, I think, like the vibes on Twitter.
It would be interesting that in the actual main report, like in the news today at 8:32 p.m., there was like, and then in the last paragraph, food that was served was lamb chop, mashed potatoes on time.
And then at least netizens, right? We can look at the food and be like,
Yeah.
okay,
all right.
okay. It looks like UMNO is not doing too well.
Yeah,
Yes.
it does give you an idea of that. But maybe you don't include it word for word, but it sort of informs your context and what's going on.
It's like, guys, DAP brought out the abalone. We're gonna have a Chinese prime minister.
For real though, for real. To me, this is what it says, right? And you can correct me if I'm wrong. That if you're treating the journalists like they shouldn't be there, it's because they don't want you to be there.
Oh yeah, that is 100% true, correct.
Right? Because the reason why PH is trying so hard to pamper journalists is because they need the exposure.
Correct.
So when you have people in power who are basically treating the journalists like they're stray dogs at your doorstep, you have to wonder what don't they want you to know?
Correct.
All right.
And that's exactly that. The reason they have a big, huge LCD or projector with a live count because all these parties have a representative in each of the counting stations across the country,
Yes.
right? So they know that, okay, we're leading in this place, so update. But BN didn't even have that at all. So they were broadcasting freaking Astro Awani and Bernama TV. I'm like, what? You guys are the biggest political party in Malaysia, and y'all don't have anything. What are you hiding from us? And what they were hiding is their defeat, lah. Their complete.
Because
But how did they know? I mean, it was still at the early counting stages, right? Because it's not like you can.
Correct.
Like,
No, but
you
you
don't
can
order
tell
food
by
out,
like,
no way, yeah.
by like 7:30, 8 o'clock, you would. There was food, no doubt, but it was just like a buffet line with like 3 dishes, very standard stuff. Not
Right.
complaining, but it wasn't what it used to be.
Because you can't go like once you start counting. Anyway, we're leading. Okay, like start working on the lamb shanks.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
then you
the
use
food's
the
gonna be
lamb
prepped
shank.
earlier.
You use the lamb shank bones to shank the other journalists who are getting in your way at the buffet table.
Yeah.
The thing about all of about treating the journalists well
Yeah.
in the press junkets and whatnot, it can go a different way though, because you've seen this happen in England, where these are people who don't want you to know something, but they distract you with the food. I've seen Boris, what's his face?
Johnson.
Johnson.
Going to prison. He's basically just a blonde Winston Churchill, and I've seen him single-handedly carry out a tray full of like milk tea to the journalists while it was cold out in winter. And what was interesting to me is if it was a Malaysian bunch of journalists, they would have all gone for the tea.
Yeah.
Correct.
British journalists don't touch it at all.
Why is that?
Because they know it's a distraction.
It's a form of gratuity. You are being nice to me. What for?
Right.
But why can't you accept the tea? Like, why can't you just drink tea?
See, Malaysians will just take the bribe and
It's
then
them.
and then lie, right?
Yeah.
Basically, we're the kind of people where we'll take the bribe and then just do whatever we want anyway.
Yeah.
We cannot.
Then ergo is not a bribe.
It was not a bribe, but the camera was on and everybody could see them could see them, right? So you don't want to be the journalist that takes the tea because you look like an oaf if you do. Number one. Number two, it's this thing of where, again, it's like the dead cat strategy where you're trying to portray this homely sort of image of being a kind prime minister. And if people are taking it, it tells the camera that, at least people trust me for this.
Yeah.
But if the journalists aren't taking the tea, it really says something. Yeah. Because you're journalists, you're supposed to spill tea, not drink it.
Correct.
It's like when Anwar gave out the popcorn, everyone was like, of all things you could give out, why popcorn?
No, it was because the day before, the morning of, people asked him, "Where are you going?" And he said, "Saya pergi tengok wayang. I'm going to watch a movie." So it was riffing off that, which I found quite funny.
Yeah, but that, the fact that you go with that line makes it even more like pre-planned.
No, it was definitely
Somehow it was like GSE popcorn. It wasn't like Garrett's.
Yeah. No, it's very telling that he said wayang of all things, right?
Correct.
Because we all know what the word means in a political context.
Yeah.
And I think as somebody who's been trying to get PM since before water existed on the planet, I think he's leaning into that stereotype where Malaysian politics is all basically a show. And he can say that because for the longest time the show wouldn't let him in.
Yeah. That's true.
So he can do this little sort of like gimmicky things and hint that I'm gonna be whatever. But for everything else, you gotta understand that, as Lance says, it's a gratuity. You really have to think about while we're all scrambling for the food, what are they talking about?
Correct. Yeah, exactly.
Because if you were a very seasoned journalist and they give you a goddamn lunch insurance, a lunch allowance, right?
Yeah, lunch insurance.
Lunch insurance.
That's what you have, lah.
That's
Lunch insurance.
He's set for life already. You don't need to work.
Lunch insurance when the food is bad.
Yeah.
You get paid for when you get food poisoning. Which did actually happen. In the Malay Pride rally. Do you remember that from years ago?
Yeah, the Baju Merah one, right?
The Baju Merah one.
Yeah.
And then so I was at the Joke Factory and they were I was doing a bit
the ICERD rally.
Yeah, the
ICERD rally. Yeah.
The Malay thing. And,
correct, yes.
And I was doing jokes about how at least the Ku Klux Klan, their racial pride rally has a decent laundry, and they don't, and all their food is barbecued because it's the South, so at least you're not gonna get poisoned with the food.
Correct.
And the reason why you need a good laundry is so you don't walk out with brown sheets.
Correct.
Yeah, dude.
That's
like,
bad.
dude, like KKK, man. Like white sheets
White
and
sheets.
barbecue. Like you are brave, man.
How are you doing this?
Like,
All your food is spicy and saucy.
Yeah.
correct.
How do you get white sheets, right? And I talked about this. I did the same joke, and another comedian was like, "I'm from Alabama. You don't know anything about the goddamn Klan." Who's the bald dude? Matt. What's his face?
From Alabama?
Yeah. Matt or whatever. I can't remember. Traveling American comedian, bald dude.
I'm trying to think. Matt? Not
Not
Walsh,
Matt.
no.
You'll look it up later.
Yeah.
It's he's from Alabama, so I thought if I make jokes about the Klan, he's like, "What the hell do you know about the Klan? I'm from Alabama, goddammit." Yeah. So
Like, what do you know about anything? You're from Alabama.
you don't know anything but Alabama. You are the Penangite of the United States.
Oh wow.
But I was making this joke at the Joke Factory, and then suddenly there was like a line of like law students. They were in their jackets and whatnot. They looked like they just came from a debate.
Yeah.
And I was talking about that rally, and one of the girls there, she started heckling me to inform me about what actually happened. At which point, I just gave up and gave her the mic.
Oh, no.
And she took the mic, and then she told me what really happened was they pulled us out of our beds at 6:00 in the morning, and then forced us to do this for a credit. And then they fed us the food, but the food was poorly made, so we ended up having food poisoning afterwards.
What? What?
Yeah. And then I took the mic away from her. Ladies and gentlemen, the revolution will not be televised.
Nice. Well done.
The whole crowd went nuts. I was like, we're putting up a rebel fort somewhere in Burnless.
Oh my
Justin Smalls, you got the gun connection? Cool.
Oh shit.
It's that. When I hear about the food thing, it's that because, even when the food is good, there's a price.
Yeah.
Right? Because if you were a very experienced journalist, you'd ignore the buffet table and then you sneak around to see what the politicians are doing, to see what they're talking about when the rest of you are not around because you're so hungry from waiting for 5 hours. And sometimes I think it's a tactic. They make you wait forever in the hot sun or in the rain, give you a little bit of food, make you feel good about yourself and good about them, and you forget why you're there.
That's very true.
It's just like a Chinese wedding.
Exactly. But you don't forget the 200 ringgit ang pao.
Oh, yeah.
There, you cannot. You don't leave the house without it.
There you go.
Yeah.
Even after you leave, you don't forget about it.
You don't. All the way
years
until
later.
it's your turn to get married. Then you're like, last time I gave them.
Yes. Yeah. So yeah, you got to be careful with all of these things because they're distractions. And next thing you know, the internal politics of the news portal or the outlet starts getting toxic because everybody's is crawling over each other for junkets and press releases and whatnot because they want the goodies. And now your news organization is killing itself from the inside because they want the little bribes which they don't think are bribes.
Oh, it is scary, man. That is scary.
Every organization, even not just news, but every organization like scarce resources, so people end up fighting for that.
Yeah.
Unless there is enough of a direction for you to go where you can set all that aside. But if you don't deal with the basics of people,
So create the scarcity mindset.
yeah, correct, exactly that.
Well, we're back on Joe Rogan territory. So
Oh shit!
Have you tried DMT?
When do we do DMT? I was just gonna say.
I don't DMT, but I did my SPM.
I've smoked SPM before. It's not good.
You haven't? Not. You didn't like it?
No, explosions happened afterwards.
Oh shit!
No, for real. After SPM, my friends decided to set off cherry bombs all over the school,
Nice.
and they timed it with mosquito coil.
Oh wow! Oh, that's okay.
That is brilliant and terrifying.
Yeah.
Because the only ones that are safe would actually be the mosquitoes.
I just walked out of the biology test, and all of my friends were just like loafing around, smiling as explosions
Bam,
happened.
boom,
Yeah.
bam,
Oh my
boom.
God.
Nice.
And I was like, you motherfuckers.
Different times, man.
Different times.
All right, we're about 2 hours plus into this podcast.
2 hours, 20 minutes.
Yeah, pretty good, dude.
Yeah, you made it this far.
Yeah.
No one has said any slurs, any derogatory terms.
Only
mentioned DMT once. Only mentioned DMT once.
Only 2 drugs, I think.
Yeah.
DMT, cocaine. 3 if you include food in general.
Yeah, correct.
Mee Rebus is a drug. I still crave for it. I still think about it.
You got to make it yourself, like. There's no chance.
Oh yeah.
That's what my family does.
That's the thing with Malay food, dude. Like Chinese
Is it cultural
food.
appropriation if you make Malay food?
No, but like okay,
blackface.
like with a lot of Chinese food, it's like quick stir fries and all that.
Yeah.
Because Chinese got to make money. We got to work, man.
Yeah.
We got no time to wait for stuff to cook with. But and it's all like we can do small portions. But like with Malay food, like I notice a lot of it is like
Involved, right?
yeah, and like it's all cooked to feed like a family of 50.
Because the whole kampung comes together.
Yeah.
and
Exactly.
Everybody helps each other out.
So it's because of that.
Yeah.
that I don't want to like dive into like
Why do you think all of our food are like stews in large pots or curries
Yeah,
in large
exactly.
pots?
Correct.
Gravies in large
Because
pots.
it's a very communal thing. It's a very, very communal
So
thing.
one makcik will be chopping the vegetables, another makcik will be chopping the meat, another makcik will be telling the kids to shut the fuck up because they're too goddamn loud.
So if
You
I
know.
want to have like a decent Mee Rebus, I have to hire an entire kampung, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. You can make small batches of it, but even a small batch of Mee Rebus made at home will last you a month.
Yeah, because like I know friends who like, every time they cook they cook anything right.
Yeah.
Whenever it comes to Malay food, bro, they are either trying to give it away or they're selling it and letting you know in advance.
Yeah.
Like okay, next week Wednesday I'm gonna cook laksa Johor.
Yeah.
Yeah, correct.
Like 20, and it's not like you can order as much as you want.
No.
They know the quantity already.
Yeah.
Because they know they're gonna have like maybe like 10 portions for themselves
Yeah.
over 2 meals,
Yep.
and the rest is just it's simply because they have to cook that kind of volume.
Yeah. And barang mahal, bro. You gotta budget this shit out.
Yeah. Like what do you mean 100 grams of potatoes? Like not 100 grams.
There has never been
go by the kilos.
There has never been a person who has gone to a market for Deepavali or Hari Raya, saw the price of mutton and not come back just cursing.
Yeah.
Correct.
Right? And it doesn't matter if the price has gone down, you're still cursing.
Yeah.
Especially if you're Indian for the Deepavali or specifically a Kelantanese person. Because they eat a lot of mutton.
Yeah.
They do.
And it's always a complaint. Like, "Oh, stupid.
Got to get the glutinous dash down somehow. Man.
Yeah. And, that would have been an interesting political issue. The price of food.
It is a thing now, right? Like there's a food safety minister and shit.
Food
like that.
security.
Food security.
Yeah.
Food safety minister.
Food safety.
Like, wash your hands. Just matsabu going like, wash your hands.
We're not at food safety yet. We're not at food safety yet.
Yeah, we're not. That's
As long as we have rats running in our alley, we're not at food safety.
No, again, Penang, we can't talk about food safety. Food danger. Food danger is part of the flavor.
Food risk management. Like.
Oh yes, correct.
Yeah. You joked about food insurance before. Well,
Yep. It's a thing, man. It's a thing.
that is a political issue too.
Yeah.
Actually.
I don't know, man. Right now, the funny thing is like what we have people saying there's egg shortage, and then the ministry trying to look into it, saying to like import eggs and all that.
Yeah.
And then suddenly when the ministry says that, the I think like the Poultry or Egg Association comes out and says, no, there's no shortage.
Yeah, correct.
Like we can meet. I'm like, what is this? Like you wait for like you all hang on to your stuff.
Correct.
And then suddenly someone say, hey, screw it lah, I'm just gonna import lah.
Correct.
Hey, don't actually we got lah. Come.
Yeah, because you've been hoarding it for like forever now, you asshole.
Correct.
I don't know.
All oligopolies are like that, right? Because like 5 or 6 companies control an entire industry, and they have that power.
Yeah. No, but they on their end, I remember one of the arguments posed was the fact that they were saying that if they kept producing eggs, that they will be selling at losses because like the price to produce the eggs
Yeah, correct.
kept going up and
Because
the government
feed
subsidies
was-
weren't coming in.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly. Which is like fair enough. It's a valid thing.
Yeah.
Because even the poultry farmers were talking about the fact that they feed is so expensive to import now.
Yeah.
That they just letting chickens die because it's easier than.
It's a chicken. Just let it out of the coop. It'll sort itself out.
But these chickens are not You know, they're not free.
See, there's your problem.
Yeah,
You
correct.
bred all of these roaster types that can't even walk.
Correct.
So when crises happen, you're like, oh,
They're like sheltered Subang chickens
yeah,
versus
yeah,
like
fucking
the
bubble tea chicken bastards,
the Cheras MRT station under the
Fucking-
bridge.
ampang dalam chickens who live in mansions. Fuck you. Give me some like ayam kampong fucks who fight for their food in a regular, like one of those scrawny motherfuckers with a snake neck
correct,
and no crown, with one eye out, right?
Father was a cockfighting champion.
Yeah, father was a cockfighting champion. He's on
CFC.
meth, clearly.
all the time.
Yeah.
Correct.
I had one of these chickens in my neighborhood. It would literally follow me down the road to eyeball me.
Oh, gangster.
It's just a Samsung chicken, man. They look for fights. They look for fights.
Out there, don't be coming near my hands.
Yeah. Who will talk? Who will cock now? Who will cock now? And that's why that's the reason that's a huge problem. The food scarcity and how economic policies influence them and whatnot. They got to fix that as well.
Yeah, it's all going to take time, I guess.
Yeah,
it's all gonna take
that's
time.
why you can't get your Mee Rebus because
Correct. Because the curry's not deep enough in the ground.
they haven't drafted a law to put the crease inside.
My Mee Rebus was not in KL during Badawi's time. It was not in KL during Najib's time. It's not in KL during.
It's a systemic issue.
It's a systemic issue, bro.
Starts at the
Systemic
bottom.
issue.
It starts way at the
Yeah,
bottom.
and Johor is a UMNO state, so
The
We-
home of UMNO.
it's the home of UMNO.
Kimchi arrived in KL before Mee Rebus arrived in KL, bro. Omakase has arrived in KL.
Yeah. No,
Good Mee Rebus still hasn't arrived in KL. That's how
mean-
sad I am about this, bro.
Yeah, I feel bad for you because you can get good char kway teow in KL.
Air
but not
flown
Mee Rebus.
salmon, bro.
Yeah.
Air flown salmon.
You gotta air fly your Mee Rebus. Like.
Yeah.
Correct.
How sad is that, dude? How sad is that?
It's not even that complicated a dish to cook. It's just tedious.
Yeah, it's all the different sum of all the parts kind of thing.
Yeah, and if you get the starch amount just wrong, you use the wrong spud in the thing.
Yeah.
Some makcik from Mersing is gonna bitch about you.
And it's not like in Johor, it's not like I was particular, must be this store, must be. No, in Johor, you just throw a stone at any store.
Just
Their
walk
Mee Rebus
in.
be nice.
That's what Penang used to be like in the 90s and 80s. Just go to any store. It's all good.
Yeah.
Then all the old people died. And then their kids moved out.
Yeah.
So now you gotta look. And Penangites, we don't want to look. We didn't pick an island to live in for nothing. Everything's supposed to be centralized. Now I gotta find out where the good popia is. Taman Brown, apparently.
Taman Brown.
Taman Brown.
Okay. Oh.
Yeah.
Is it the wet popia or the fried popia?
Is wet.
All right.
It's that BBC popia.
Is that
big soggy lunk of
just-
like oof. So
yeah, just wetter than December, you know what I mean?
slather that all over me.
There you go. Just put it down your throat hole.
I like how we started with like me making noises.
Yeah.
And now we're still there.
So talking about being wet and slathered,
Yeah.
Yes,
yeah.
correct.
you guys want to promote your socials before we
Help. Lance, you got socials? You better damn well have
I
socials.
do have socials.
just hit me up at thevibes.com.
If you'd like, follow The Vibes News, especially on Twitter at The Vibes News. You can find me on Twitter at se.lancelot or on Instagram at lancelot_se. And Raqib?
I have a couple of things happening. I will be
In the hospital.
I mean, eventually. Let's be real. Food insurance, people. I will be performing with Kavin J at Hush on the 16th of December. 16th, and we will also be planning a show with me, Kiran Baladevan, Brian Tan, Mick, and maybe Sim. Also, sort of like a politically themed show. We'll see. We're still looking for a venue, but if you want updates on what we're planning or what's happening with us, you can find me on Kibble Cubes at Instagram.
How do you spell that?
Kibble Cubes. K-I-B-B-L-E-S.
How do you spell that?
Kibble Cubes.
Like, how else can I say K-I-B-B-L-E-S K-I-B-B-L-E-C-U-B-E-S.
Yeah, I'll probably put a link in the
Right.
YouTube
It's
description.
my personal Instagram, but I mostly use it for just promoting shows and whatnot. If you want updates on shows that we're doing, or I will be on, or just funny memes for reals. You can hit me up on there as well, and that's pretty much it.
All right, sweet. So we're gonna wrap it up. I'm just gonna end this by saying, to all the Johorians out there, please learn the Mee Rebus recipes before old people die.
And also learn how to drive.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
no, y'all learn how to drive.
We're fine. KLites are absolutely fine.
No,
A Johorian and a Penangite,
Yeah.
shut the fuck up.
Yo, you got a lot of land. Stop building apartments.
the way you use the signal light is you take the lane first, then you switch on the signal
It's just
to
what-
assert dominance.
Oh.
You're like thanking the car at the back.
Yeah.
Like, thanks.
It's like, hey, I'm here now. Make sure the light is just to confirm I'm here, you know?
Yes.
Yeah, let's hope Mee Rebus comes too.
Yeah,
So,
if you guys have any Mee Rebus recommendations in the Klang Valley, please drop them in the comments below because Stephen Bones is
I will go there and I will trash them.
Yeah.
correct.
If you can figure
No
out
pressure, guys.
if you can figure out a way how to make small batches, small single serving batches of Mee Rebus so that Stephen can make Mee Rebus, without having to fill up his entire fridge.
No, just why is there no instant Mee Rebus?
You're right. There should be an because there's no way to make it nice, Code.
It doesn't
So
have to
ingredients
be
need
nice.
fresh. Your kwa needs to be fresh.
I know, but it's not like the stuff we have right now is already nice.
That's true.
I just need passable. I just need the basics. I will get the potatoes. I will get the eggs. I will sauce the cucumber, which I will proceed to throw in a garbage can because they serve no real purpose in life.
There you go.
Yeah, and I will buy the noodles. That's fine.
What did cucumbers ever do to you?
Too much.
Worst case scenario, you know what you could really do if you're a bit of a degenerate? Get yourself a rojak and then pour it on some mee.
Shut the hell up. We're wrapping
What?
this up.
But that
Mee rojak, it's a thing I only discovered in KL. In Jalan Masjid.
no, yeah, that's Mee Rojak. No,
Yeah,
Mee
Mee Rojak lah.
Rebus is a different thing completely. Like, how dare you?
Sir!
I'm on his side. I don't even like Johor.
Wow,
mean,
I've in this podcast, I my opinion on Raqib has completely changed.
It's revealed our true selves.
No.
Who we are deep down
Here,
inside.
there's a bunch of missing components in a good Mee Rebus that you could probably find in a rojak sauce. Then again, I am talking as a Penangite.
Just wrapping this up, man. There's no saving this. Raqib, this bit doesn't work.
No, I go to Mee Rebus stores and there's like 3 different gravies they gotta mix in.
No, it's like saying that char kway teow basah and actual char kway teow are the same thing. Like,
Char kway teow basah is
It's like saying lasagna and aglio olio is the same thing.
yeah. They're not. It's a completely different dish.
I'm just providing alternatives.
They use the same sauce.
Yeah.
And, they contain some of the same ingredients, but they're not the same thing.
Well, then you're just gonna have to make it yourself. I'm sorry. You just can't.
Stop whining, Stephen.
At least tacos, burritos, and enchiladas all actually use the same ingredients, bro.
That is
Here's
true. But
okay. Look, your mom had a chap fan shop for eons. You have no excuse. You gotta make it yourself.
She never made Mee Rebus.
Huh?
She never made Mee Rebus.
yeah, because it's mixed rice, not. Why
Yeah.
would. No, what he's trying to
How
allude.
far are you away from Mee Rebus?
The cooking skills should
Next
should
thing you're gonna
apply.
say like his great grandfather owned an Italian restaurant, cook la Mee Rebus. Is that
The
how far
cooking
it's gonna-
skills apply, lah.
His great
Just
grandmother was left-handed. Why can't you cook Mee Rebus? What?
Just extrapolate your cooking skills to other things. It's not difficult.
If you guys have any recipes that Stephen Bones could potentially cook Mee Rebus in small portions, please drop them in the comments below. Yeah. He will definitely not cook them, but he will still complain about them.
Yes.
I'll hire a kampong to cook it.
Or like a small neighborhood, like a row of houses.
Sederet.
Sederet.
Flat.
Except it's Johor, there's no flat.
Johor, everything is supposed to be flat, bro.
No, it's not a flat.
Not
It
a
is
flat.
all the flat.
flat.
The flat.
The flat.
The flat.
We live on the flats.
Alright. Okay, but for the 5th and final time, we're wrapping this up. Thank you guys for watching. Yeah, thank you.
Bye.
Bye.